Everybody, what's good? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Well, we always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. What's popping, everybody? I hope everybody so far is having a blessed week. Hope everything is starting off smooth sailing for each and every one of you. Want to give a big up to all of my subscribers. I don't see y'all as subscribers. I see y'all as family. I want to give a big up to all of you who have been loyal and been rocking with me from day one. I thank you for still standing by me, still support me. Appreciate you. For all of you who have just subscribed, I welcome you to Cafe de Paris family. And if this is your first time tuning out, hanging out with us, we appreciate you for stopping by. So with no further delay, I thought it was imperative that I let it be known that I have decided to change the name. What's up, Fifi, and to everybody else who's tuning in? That I'm no longer doing a salon chat talk, but the concept is still going to be the same. I decided to change the name to the Non-Ratchet Movement because in the YouTube streets there's too many ratchetness going on with black women in the YouTube streets. It's a lot of ratchetness, it's a lot of ignorance, it's a lot of sisters that are not carrying themselves with class, dignity, and grace. And with my channel, I try to strive for greatness. I make sure whatever sisters I bring on, these are sisters who have substance, they have class, they have wisdom, they have knowledge. I feel like there's a lot of ratchetness that's already going on in the streets, and it comes a point where somebody has to stand up above the rest and set a trend and do things differently. And that is what I aim to do. So this channel is not a feminist channel. We do not do any male bashing. At the same token, we don't do a lot of female bashing either. We just basically kick truth, we kick knowledge. We bring knowledge, we don't bring drama here. So if you're looking for drama, you're definitely not gonna be pleased with the content, because we don't do that here. We don't operate that way. But if you're looking for drama, I'm sure you will know where to go and event that's what you're looking for. So basically, that is what it is. It is the Non-Ratchet Movement. We have women that are standing outside of the ratchetness. We're all about class. We're all about grace. We're all about intelligence and being intellectual. That's how we operate here. So before we go into tonight's topic, I'm going to let my girls introduce themselves. If y'all have been rocking with me for a minute, these ladies should not be a stranger to y'all if you've been here with me a couple of times. So with no further ado, starting off with Poetic Kales. Introduce yourself, girl. Let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Yes, I am Poetic Kells. I got my name because I'm an award-winning poet, and Kells is short for my first name. I'm originally from Long Beach, California, but now I stay in Roswell, Georgia. Love it out here. I'm never going to move back to California. I might, visit, but I love Georgia. And my pretty much basically, my channel is basically, it's a fun support channel. Sometimes I drop a little poetry, just chat with the family. I don't really got too much content on my channel. It's just everybody comes, since we run in the same circle. Everybody just come and kind of mingle with each other. We follow each other. Get our accounts up. We view each other's videos. It's pretty much like a support team.
Okay,
And
cool.
that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
Absolutely. Well, again, I appreciate you, Kels, for always coming through and just being you and just being one of those sisters that keep it real. You always bring your grace, you bring your classiness, you bring your intelligence to my panel, and for that, I'm very grateful for your presence. On that note, Classic Ruby, go ahead and introduce yourself as well, hun.
Hey y'all, I'm Classic Ruby. So I am basically an opinion blogger slash blogger. I've been sharing my lovely opinion with all of you for at least a decade. You can check out my website, classicruby.com. I also have my channel, Classic Ruby. And, basically, my insights are coming from not just personal experience, where, I am a Black woman living in Ontario, Canada, and with my Jamaican background. But I'm also talking from a psychological perspective, since I'm on track to eventually one day get my PhD in psychology. Right now, heavily into the research on human behavior. Why do people do what they do, especially in evolutionary psychology? So, most of my opinions, even if I don't say it, are going to be heavily rooted in that psychology thing. So, just a heads up in advance.
Okay, sounds like my voice is doubling. I'm trying to see something here. If it'll let me, it's probably not going to let me. Just 1 second. Yeah, because I
Yeah, I don't know.
muted
It's like there's this weird echo.
it. Okay, yeah, it's not going to let me do it. So, all right, let me just go ahead and exit from here.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna have to do it through my PC. I was trying to do it from my phone. I'm until I figure out how to do it that way. I'm just gonna have to be restricted to my PC, unfortunately. But anyway, on that note, again, I appreciate both of you ladies. Of course, for always coming through, and bringing y'all class and y'all knowledge and y'all wisdom. So I appreciate it. I'm very grateful for this panel because, like I stated, we have too much, fuckery basically going on in the YouTube streets. It's too much chaos. It's a lot of pettiness going on. And it's unfortunate that, there's nobody, no one is trying to set the trend and do anything different. It's just too many channels that they're either, it's either too many men coming together and bashing women, or either it's too many women coming together bashing men. It's unfortunate that black men and black women cannot come together and put their egos aside and just learn how to work together. We all can build from one another. We all can learn from one another. And it's too much competition within the black community. And as many times as I hear, black men, not all brothers, but I'm hearing some of the black men on these YouTube streets saying how black women are so competitive and we're always trying to compete with one another. But in honesty, it's competitiveness in the black community, period. It's either black women, competing against black women. But now I'm starting to notice there's black men that are being competitive against other black men, or I'm noticing it's the black women being competitive against the black men, or the black men being competitive against black women. It's too much competitiveness within the black community. Nobody just won't let anybody be great. What's up, Gab? Appreciate you. What's up, Dion, and everybody who's coming in? We can't come together and collect. It's too much, competitiveness. Everybody wants to be more righteous than the other. You got black men in the YouTube streets. They want to be more knowledgeable than black women. I mean, a black woman could make a whole lot of sense. It could be kicking a lot of actual factual facts. But because she's a black woman, he's automatically going to throw some type of shade because he feels like, being the fact that she's a woman, she's not qualified and having any knowledge. And then you have some of these sisters, they won't, they can get on these panels and bash black men all day. However, they won't try to work with black men. That way we could all learn from one another. But I know I'm doing a lot of rambling. I'll go ahead to my ladies. Starting with you, Classic. What do you think is kind of one of the issues before we go into tonight's topic about marriage? What do you think is some of the issues that we're having within these YouTube channels, within the YouTube streets?
I think what it comes down to is who are the thought leaders on YouTube? Who are the people who are giving advice and setting the rules and telling you what to do? Not just venting and crying and whatever, but trying to give out advice. And what you're finding is you got a lot of fakers, you got a lot of posers, you got a lot of liars, you got a lot of people wearing masks that come out here and there, but mostly they're just putting on a show. So I think what's happening is between that and the people who are trying to give you advice about something they've never been successful at, Like if you are getting up on YouTube and this chick's got 200,000 subs, 10,000 people watching her, telling you how to get a man, but she doesn't have one, and she hasn't
Mm,
had one that actually will support her and her 4 kids now because none of those fathers have stayed around. Well, guess what? She's probably not the one to give you advice. But because she's the loudest, because she's the most fancy, because she's the one who is saying all the right buzzwords, those are the people that we're going to sit there and we're going to big up and we're going to support. So I think it comes down to a lot where we've got some really great quality people on here. We've got some really deep minds that can really affect positive change, I think, especially in the younger people. But it just comes down to the channels that are getting that shine and support and the ones that aren't. And I think our community just likes entertainment a little too much. And we like what's
absolutely.
comfortable and what we already know a little too much.
Absolutely. You said something that struck a nerve. You said when it comes to these numbers. And I totally feel that. What a lot of these people in the YouTube streets got to realize, quantity and quality is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. I can go to a certain restaurant. I can go to a restaurant to where they have a buffet, meaning they have so much food, I can pretty much choose whatever I want. But if the food is garbage, it don't matter if you got 20 damn choices in your restaurant, I do not want to eat there. Just because you serving different, entrees, and you got 20 different things to choose on the menu, I don't want to eat there because you serve garbage. Now you may have this other restaurant, they don't have near as much variety um as the other restaurant. They may have like 5 or 6 particular dishes, but if those dishes are really, really good, and the food is enjoyable, is seasoned well, I'm going to go where the food is good. I'm not going. I don't care who has a lot of varieties. We got to go where the food is good. So basically, what's going on in the YouTube streets is like Classic just said. It's too many people in the black community. They want to be entertained. They don't want to be given. They don't want to be educated. And I say that all the time. Too many black folks want to be entertained instead of educated. We want to go where the action is. We want to go where the drama is popping. We want to go to panels where they are screaming, yelling at each other. We love to see when black men are going in on black women. We love to see when the black women are going in on the black men. We get a kick out of seeing each other drag each other through the mud. We get turned on by that. Anytime somebody does a different panel trying to share knowledge and wisdom, we don't put as much time and energy into that. We want to go where the action is popping off. So, Kels, what is your opinion on what's going on in these YouTube streets?
I think some of this crap is like a sideshow attraction. You have some people preaching about how they don't like raggedy, but this is what they admire. You say you don't like raggedy people, men and women, but yet and still this is who you cater to. And I feel like a lot of the non-raggedy people are getting caught in the crossfire. That's what I am learning on YouTube. They're putting the raggedy ends on a pedestal and the diamonds in the dirt.
Mm, mm,
And for the life of me, I'm wondering, well, you preach about how you can't stand Raggedy Ann and you nitpicking at Raggedy Ann from left to right, but guess what? Raggedy Ann is always there on your panel. Raggedy Ann is who you apply, who you salute, and Raggedy Ann is who you put on a pedestal.
and it's funny you said that because I'm starting to think what it is. I'm not saying all the men in the YouTube streets is doing this, but you know what I think, and it's just my opinion, Ruby and Kels. What I'm thinking is some of these brothers, not all, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. Because some of these brothers, they say what they mean and they mean what they say. They're not going to sway. But what I think is some of them, the very type of females they complain about, the type of women they drag through the mud on their panels, the raggedy ants, the dusty broads, the the thoughts or whatever. I think that some of them secretly have a fetish for
Mm-hmm.
these type of women that they complain about. Now, this is not to say they will wife them. I know they're not going to do that. This is not to say they're going to try to build a future with them. They're not going to try to like make something solid. But I think some of these dudes that do all this drag out, all these talks about stay away from these thoughts, stay away from these no good women. These are the same type of females. If these females catch them at the right time, at the right place, nobody's not looking, none of their subscribers are there to see, nobody they know is there to see. I think the majority of these brothers who complain about these type of sisters, they will be the main ones that will bang these chicks' backs out. That's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
Tinder dicks.
That's
Tinder
how I
dicks.
feel. What y'all think?
I
I
feel the
think they got
same
a
way.
fetish.
Tinder dicks. You know what I'm saying? You complain about the raggedy end, but as soon as she bend over, you know what I'm saying, you put her on a pedestal or on your lap. That's the Tinder dick.
Yeah, yeah. What is your intake on that, Ruby? Do you think they have like some of these brothers got some like undercover fetish for these thoughts that they
Well,
Mm-hmm.
complain so badly about and want to degrade them and talk about them? And I think if half of these brothers they'll mess with them, the same ones
That's
you
they
know,
it.
I,
prey
That's all they can get. That's all they
I
can
think it's a
get.
couple. I think it's a couple things. I do. I think it's a couple things. I think the first thing is that you have to think about what the media has been flooding and inundating these men's minds since they were young boys. You know what I mean? What is attractive? What do you want to chase, right? So, and then you think about our biological programming. Waist to hip ratio is going to be a big thing. That ass, it's going to be a big thing. So when you think about these men now, on one level, I think that they mean what they say. They want
mm,
a good woman,
mm,
but biologically, they're men. And so, as much as they might want a good woman, what they really want is to sleep with the one that looks the best, right? Sleeps with the one that draws them in, that caught their eye, that got them hot. I was watching, I can't remember what I was watching. I was just watching something, and it was that show. It's called Happen Leonard, and it said that basically a hard dick has no conscience. That was the saying that they would say to each other, and
I can believe that. Yeah.
I do
right, and I
too,
think
yo.
I think that's the problem. I don't think that they like themselves for doing it. I think they have a hard time not doing it because that they're built in to want that shape and to want that look and whatever, and they pray to
It's
God that they
it's
find someone
like
who's got that shape, who's a good woman. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to find, because the women who got that shape and are good women aren't flaunting it for you to see when she's walking down the
Mm-hmm.
street.
it's kind of like
Yeah,
those
you're right.
animal instincts. Y'all ever seen like a
You're right.
damn dog, like, you ever seen like a dog walk the street and that dog
Yeah.
sees a female dog? I have two dogs. I got two pits. And
Mm-hmm.
I notice when they see a female dog walking down the street and she's in heat, they don't give a damn where the hell she comes from. She could be a
Mm-hmm.
stray dog full of goddamn fleas. I've seen my dog hump a dirty dog that was flea
Mm-hmm.
infested. He didn't care where she came from. All my dog knew. I mean, and I was disappointed in him. I'm like, dude, I trained you better than that. I mean, have some class. At least mate with a pit bull that's clean.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't gave a damn. The first pit bull he saw walking down the street, I caught my
Mm-hmm.
dog humping her, you know, and it gave me a funny analogy that, it's those animal instincts. The moment he saw she was in heat, he channeled into that. Nothing else
Mm-hmm.
mattered but getting that. You get what I'm saying? So, I totally agree with you, Ruby, when you say, hey, it's not that when they say they don't like thoughts, they really don't like thoughts. But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? If you catch them in the heat of the moment, that thought is what's going to do. They going to work with it. Now, they ain't going to claim her tomorrow.
No, they're
They're
not.
not going to claim her. They're
And,
not
you know
going
what
to
I'm saying?
acknowledge that, hey, I hit that, because what it is, dudes ain't even telling other dudes who they banged anymore. They don't do that no more. You know what I mean? They're not even bragging
Maybe
about,
because they're ashamed.
huh?
They may be kind of ashamed because they preach about how they want a dime piece and they just screwed a penny.
Absolutely. Because this is my theory when it comes to dealing with thoughts. And I say this all the time. Thoughts to me are nothing but rotten apples. And I'm
That's
going to
it.
break it down to y'all what I mean by the rotten apple theory for some of y'all out here. What I mean by a rotten apple, if you go to an apple tree, you notice the most fresh and ripe apples are still hanging on the tree because they're still fresh and they're still ripe. So if you want a fresh, ripe apple, you may have to use a ladder to climb and get that apple because it's still fresh and it's ripe. But a rotten apple, on the other hand, once that apple begins to deteriorate and loses its freshness, that's when that apple will hit the ground. And if that apple has been on that ground long enough, that apple will become rotten. So what I noticed with some of these men out here, it's easier to pick an apple from off the ground because you don't have to put no work into it. You get what I'm saying? There's no
Hmm.
effort. If the apple is already on the ground, all you got to do is walk and pick it up. But if it's an apple that's fresh and ripe, he gonna have to put in some effort to get that apple. He's gonna have to climb a ladder. He's gonna have to climb that tree, and
Right.
it just boils down to me. It's like that rotten apple theory.
And not only that, some of these raggedy ants be lying. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
They'll lie and say they're submissive, but then they have rules. So I want to ask y'all, what exactly do submissive means? Because if you're submissive, I'm thinking that you're supposed to just shut your mouth and do what you're told. Now you're submissive, and you got certain rules.
But see now, okay, and
mm,
and I'm not necessarily condoning certain women. I'm just saying this. There's a difference
mm,
between being submissive and submitting to your man. There's a very big
Hmm.
difference.
mm,
And so if you're just a submissive person, then yeah, anyone tells you what to do, basically you bow your head and do it, right? You're being submissive in that moment. They tell you what to do. You don't have a brain or a thought or a whatever for yourself, right? You're not autonomous. You're just fully submissive. Now there's a difference between that and submitting to your man. So you submit to your man. So first of all, you're submitting to his life plan, to his game plan, where he's going, his direction. You're on board. Right. That's why I use the analogy of the train. You're on that train. You jumped on that train. Wherever it's heading, you're on your way there. And so everything you're going to do now needs to be in light of that ultimate goal, whether they're his mini goals on a daily basis or his bigger goals, right? Because you have submitted to that plan, you've submitted to that man. That's very different, right? So
mm,
I can walk around. I'm a very opinionated person. You know what I mean? I'm not walking around just waiting, sitting on the couch, waiting for my man to get home so he can tell me what to do. You know what I mean? In fact, I will actually posit that your marriage is not going to be a happy one if that's who you are. Because at the end of the day, if he has to tell you everything to do, and you
mm.
can't make a move without him, that means
Yep.
he's got to know everything. He's got to manage everything. So he's got to know the micro managing of the kitchen and the cleaning and the kids and the laundry and the this and the that. Because if he doesn't tell you, then you don't do it. No, that's not the way life works, right? A part
Mm,
because and this is where I'll say it, you need to submit to your man, but this is why I also will agree to it's a partnership because I've got my role, right? And I got to fulfill my role. He can't be at his better than best unless I'm fulfilling my role. And me fulfilling my role is not being a mindless drone. I am an active participant. And you know what? If I see him
mm,
fall off for a minute, I got to pull him back onto the train. What am I supposed to do? Just let him
mm,
fall off, but he didn't tell me to pull on, so I'm just gonna stay on the train and be like, where are you going, babe? Like, no, right? I gotta be an active participant, right? So now at the same time, if my active participation is try to change his mind and try to change his way and try to change
right.
who he is and try to change who this and that and well, I don't do this and I don't do that. Listen, if you don't do this and you don't do that, and that's part of his agenda, then you need to go find a different man, right? You need to go find a different
Mm-hmm.
train to jump on because that man just told you what his plan is. He told you what his needs and wants are. Is that something that works for you? Because if it's not, go find a different man. There's one out there for you, and you guys are going to work and sync perfectly. This one's not it. But, with that being said, within the what does he need? What are his goals? Where is he going? And where are we therefore going? What are therefore our goals, right? What are our aspirations? Yeah, of course you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have opinions. Of course you're going to have thoughts. Of course you need to be able to independently think and move and be an autonomous being, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where people get it confused. You don't have to be submissive. You have to submit to your man, and there's a big difference.
Well, what if they don't have a man and they're just telling men in general that they're submissive?
Well, then they might mean sexually
Well,
because
there go the thing. They don't want to be. They're submissive, but they don't not on that part. Just other stuff.
well, see, I guess that's the thing though. So, see, because to me, right, if you don't have a man and you're telling every man that you see how submissive you are, then to me it just screams sexual because if you know
Right.
what I
That's
mean, like,
that's
Right.
but
what I was thinking. But then when
Right.
the man just only wants sex, they complain and say, "No, that's not all." And it's like, well, you just said you were submissive. Now all of a sudden, you got some rules.
right,
See, and see that's the thing where women got to be careful when you are by yourself. You have to be careful out of desperation, making agreements to things, and then when you stuck having to live with those agreements you made, now you want to feel some type of way. So
Right. You said it
don't
good.
sit up here and tell men, a man, if you're a single woman, don't sit up here and tell a dude, I'm a submissive woman. Because this is another thing. What people got to realize, submission, everybody don't see submission as the same way. Everybody has their own definition of what they consider submission. Like you have some men, they consider a woman submissive even if she has a job. She could be a career oriented woman, but as long as, even with her independence, she's allowing him to lead, she's allowing him to be a man, she's still cooking, she's still cleaning, she's not allowing her career and all of her independent attributes to make her feel like she does not need to be submissive and allow him to lead. She's still being submissive. In his mind, he still sees his wife as being submissive as long as she's still allowing him to lead. Now you have some men, on the other hand, their definition of submission is slavery. That means
Yeah,
don't
right.
work, be barefoot and pregnant.
Modern day slavery at that. It's like,
Yeah, I mean,
damn.
it also
mm,
means don't have a damn opinion. Meaning,
Right.
even if you are smart and you are intelligent, I'm treating you as a child. Your opinion, your feelings, none of what you say matters because I see you as a slave. And you have some men who have that mentality. But this is what I noticed. Some men who have done this, and I don't see too many new school guys who've done it, but I've seen guys from the old school, like we all have that uncle. We all know that one couple in our family who's been married for years, and Aunt Bertha was that highly submissive woman, like Celie from The Color Purple.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever Uncle
mm,
Earl said, that's what went. We all know that uncle, aunt. We all got one in our black family. Now, what I've noticed is over time, initially, that may have been great, but I've seen a lot of marriages suffer. When you want a woman that's so submissive to the point she does everything you say, like you mentioned earlier, Ruby, that now she can't function without you. And see, you have to be careful with the monster you create. It's not good to, as much as some of these men preach, a woman needs to be submissive. How submissive do you want her to be? Be careful with that, because you don't want her to be so submissive to the point that if God forbid you in a coma, you can't
mm,
speak and tell her how to handle business, and you have always been the one she's gone to an event that there was things that needed to be taken care of. You're not in that position to do it, to tell her what to do. Now she has to do it. This is the monster you created. I've seen men who have done this, who want a submissive wife, and now they mad because when they get in a crisis or they get in a jam, she cannot be of help to him. She don't know nothing. You wanted to run it all. Now you have to run it all. Because you got a wife or companion who don't know diddly squat.
And it doesn't have to be just when you fall into a coma. Like you
Right.
think about if you as a man are driven, and here's the thing, whether this is an interesting fact, but whether the marriage is happy or sad, it could be a miserable marriage, but men who are married are 44% more successful than men who are not. Women, though, the marriage has to be happy for her to be 44% more successful. Interesting. But now, with that being said,
Mhm.
so this man is married. Now, he wants to push himself. He wants to drive himself. He wants to get to next level. You think when you're trying to get to next level, there's not going to be times that you need to drop everything and focus on your career, focus on your job, focus on your business, right? So when you drop everything else to focus on your career, your job, your business, that means someone's got to step up and fill that role while you're busy,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
So if she can't step up and fill that role, then what? If she can't sit there and balance the books, if she has no idea what's going on in this business that you own, so if you get sick, God forbid, someone's at the helm instead of that random guy that you work with. Well, you got to promote him temporarily, and who knows, he might run your business into the ground. But your wife doesn't know life. She just knows how to sit on the couch and wait for you to get home with the margarita or whatever. Like you need to realize what you're really asking for. And the thing is that I think that some men have been bitten so hard by a woman that they want to go the whole other way with it. So it's almost like the idea of having a woman who has independence or an opinion or whatever is actually scary to them because the last one they had that really bit them in the ass. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That woman who was so independent was like, he didn't care. Yeah, go out with your friends, do what you're doing, whatever. Well, then he found out she was really doing what she wanted to do, with all kinds of
Right.
men and all kinds of positions, right? Devastating. Or the one who had so many opinions and so on and so forth, and bullied him into a few decisions, and he lost tens of thousands of dollars, and then found out she cleared out his savings and bounced. Right? You
Right.
find
Yeah.
a lot of men, and once they've been burned, especially if they've been burned more than once because they've chosen the wrong women. At the end of the day, they say, "Hey, listen, I don't want to go through this a third time." You know what I mean? I want a woman, and I know I can control her, I can mold her, I can make her into what I want her to be. And I've actually heard men say that, like, I just want a woman that I can control and mold. Well,
And you and that's very true. Now Gabe said something in the comments, and I meant to speak on that earlier. His comment was some women are picking men who are not leaders on purpose, and then our later bored in the relationship, it turned to less than righteous behavior. Now that's true. Now see, when it comes to the word being submissive, it's very important of as a woman, who are you submissive to? Because if your companion lacks leadership qualities, that relationship is going to suffer. Because let's face it, ladies, every man does not have leadership qualities. Let's be frank.
No.
All men don't know how to run the house. A lot of them. Now, it may be one thing. Just because you're a good provider, that does not make you a good leader. That's a totally different story. Just because you're bringing a big check and you're paying the bills, that does not make you a leader. A leader is a man who has structure in his household. The woman has her place, the children have their place. The problem is, it's too many men, what I'm starting to notice, they are sitting in the back seat and they want the woman to do all the driving. We're in a lazy, it's like a lazy culture. Because so many of these sisters out here don't scream, I'm independent, I'm
Right.
independent, I got my own car, I got my own
Yep.
job,
And
I
they
got
want the
this, I got
same
that.
right. And they want the same
Yes.
rights as a man. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
want the same rights. They want to be equal to. So,
And you pay for that. You pay for
hmm
that. I tell people, I don't give a damn how independent I am. I don't want to do everything by my goddamn self. I'm not a Power Ranger broad. I ain't no
if that's the
goddamn
case,
Power
be by
Ranger.
yourself. If
I
that's
need
the case,
help.
be by yourself.
Exactly. When you sit up there and you put on that, I'm so strong, I can do it all. I've seen women who've done it and they paid the price. You don't have
Hmm
to in strength, you can still be independent and allow men to lead at the same time. You don't have to give up one to have the other. You can do both. You can be independent and submissive. But when you scream this I'm independent, it's always that one homosexual. It's that one homosexual or that one builder bum that's gonna channel in on that. Oh, she's
Mm-hmm.
independent. Oh, really? She got her own car. Oh, well, I can drive her goddamn car. She got her
Right.
own house. I can live in her house. She got
I'll
her
just
own this and that. I can benefit from that.
right.
See, but you know what though? Here's my thing, okay? And I feel the same way about MGTOW men. So if you're a MGTOW, thank you for letting me know. That already told me everything I need to know about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not marriage material because you're not looking for a wife. You're not commitment material. You're not looking for a girlfriend. So I'm not fucking with you. I'm gonna leave you alone. On to the next. This is why I don't understand why there's so much focus on these women who run around saying, I don't need no man. She already told
Mm-hmm.
you everything that she's about. She doesn't need you. On to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
Why are you gonna sleep with that girl? Why are you gonna talk to that girl? Forget that girl. Listen, she already told you she doesn't need you for nothing. She's got her vibrator, she's got her job, she's got her car, she
Her
got her
batteries,
apartment.
her,
She don't need
her
you.
phone.
Yeah. Right? She got extra batteries. She's good. She doesn't
Yeah.
need you. On to the next. Listen, let her sit there and wallow in her self-righteous, I don't need no man glory for a while. And you know what? When she's ready to change her tune, because she will be eventually, because trust me, she needs
Of
a man.
course.
She just wants some men begging for her. She loves the attention she gets when a man goes, what do you mean you don't need no men? Da 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 da. So she can sit there and list off her accomplishments to you, and she can feel self-righteous
Right.
in it. And other girls can slap her on the back and be like, yeah, girl. Because again, she's been burned. Okay, I'm sorry your baby daddy left you. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm.
sorry that that other guy that you thought that he was falling in love with you, and as soon as you slept with him, he bounced. I'm sorry, girl. But at the end of the day, your hurt feelings doesn't make it any more true that you don't need no man. It's actually literally in the
Mm-hmm.
statistics. Told you, not only are women less successful, just like men, when they're not married, but when they're in a miserable marriage, they're also less successful. So, you know what? Literally, the statistics have shown, research has shown, women need men. They need a husband. They need a happy marriage. So it's actually, they have a vested interest in finding a man,
Mm-hmm.
finding the right man, and then building and growing and maintaining, watering that marriage so that way it's always blooming and flourishing and blossoming. They have a vested interest in it. And any woman who says otherwise, okay, well, she can sit in her delusion. I leave her alone. Let her go sit in
Mm-hmm.
her delusion alone. Why are you sitting there trying to talk her out of it? On to the next. Trust me, there's a lot of us over here who already
Mm-hmm.
know, listen, women need men. I know I need a man. I always knew
Mm-hmm.
that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Of
I can
course,
introduce you. Listen,
especially as
you're
she's
having
Mm-hmm.
trouble.
talking to
I'll
men.
introduce you to a few. Come on now.
And and I think too, there's a difference between needing a man and thirsting a man. When we say we need a man, we mean it in a sense of we need a leader, we need a provider, we need
Yeah.
somebody who's family oriented, who wants to build. Now, is other some of these females, they're not needing, they're thirsting, meaning they just want to get laid. They just want to get laid. They just basically want somebody to fulfill whatever little
Mhm.
temporary misery they're going through.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't have their heart set in the right place when it comes to looking for a relationship. But this is the next question, because I know no I wanted to ask you ladies about marriage, because I hear brothers talking about this all the time on their channels and stuff like that. So I thought it was imperative that we go into talking about, marriage, from married women's point of view, from single women's point of view. So this is my first question. At what point do you ladies think a single woman starts seeking marriage? When do you think these women start seeking marriage?
Realistically, I think that I mean, and this is from a biological perspective. I think women start seeking marriage depending on a couple of variables. So if they're in harder, rough times, I'm going to say a little bit later in the teenage years. But I will say, by and large, around the middle of puberty, because that is the time that once your body is ready to start making babies And I
Mhm.
mean, not just
Mhm.
physically, like your period starts, but mentally, you're ready to start
Mhm.
thinking about, oh, babies are cute. Maybe I want one. That's about the time that you're ready to seek marriage, right? So even though you
Mhm.
don't know how, you're ready.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because they got that. They got, that's, well, not today, not these days, but back in the days, that was a woman's American dream was to have a husband, a house, and kids.
Right.
These days it's not cool anymore.
And you're absolutely right. If y'all think about it, remember pregnancies back in the day was honorable.
Right.
It was an honorable thing to have a child from your husband, because
Right.
back then women strived to be wives. And what a wife, the role of a wife was to help the husband build that family foundation. And back then, women strived to become pregnant because it was an honorable thing to extend your husband's legacy. That's what having a family, not having babies. There's a difference, ladies. There's a difference between having babies and having a family. These chicks today strive to have babies and child support and
Hmm.
housing and whatever these other governmental assistance. Back then, women strive to be wives. They wanted to have their children from husbands so they could build a family structure, and in generations to come those children will continue to expand that family name. But what has happened today is all of these chicks are randomly getting pregnant from random dudes. So if you are a female and you have, let's say, I'm a female and I have 4 different baby daddies, okay? All of my children are going to have different last names. And being that I was not married to these men that I was producing my offsprings with, I have already tainted the legacy. I've already tainted it. So
But you know
when
what though?
I'm dead and gone, my children, or they're not even going to have a foundation to stand on. What's your opinion on that, poetic? What you was getting ready to say?
Oh, that
Oh
was
no, no,
me.
that was
Oh,
Ruby.
who was that? Oh, okay, Ruby. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Here's the thing though. We look at it from, I mean, obviously we look at it from that perspective, and that's definitely true. But if you think about it, and I remember seeing this from when I was like a teenager myself, because I remember I used to use those badass teen Maury shows to be like, see, mom, at least I'm not that bad. Um,
Hmm.
but at the end of the day, I remember a lot of those little girls. And when they were all saying that they wanted a baby, I'm gonna have a baby. I don't care if I don't have clothes for it. I guess I'm gonna steal it and stuff, right? Why? Why did they want those babies? They wanted someone to love them, right? They wanted the concept of unconditional love because they didn't feel they could get it elsewhere, because they felt abandoned elsewhere, because they felt alone elsewhere. And so what do? Well, a baby is going to love you unconditionally because your children love you unconditionally. Why do they think that? Because they think about the parent who abandoned them, who they still love unconditionally, and the parent who stayed with them and treats them like shit, who they still love unconditionally, right? So they think about it like that. They're coming from a child perspective. Remember that the brain doesn't become adult until the age of 25. So they're still thinking a lot from a child's perspective. And I think that, it's this cycle of loneliness and the cycle of not having two parents in the home, and the cycle of abandonment, the cycle of, I mean, damn, you talk to people all the time. Everyone's got a story about how their parents abandoned them, about how their parents weren't there for them, about how their parents chose someone or something else over them. You're hearing about mothers like my little cousin. My little cousin showed up on her dad's doorstep when she was 4 because her mom found a new man, and that new man didn't want a kid. So
Oh.
she was gone. That was the end of that. And she didn't care.
Wow.
The mother didn't care who was going to take care of her kid or not. And then the worst part is the father didn't care much either, because when he found a new woman who didn't want that kid in her house, he left the kid, who was now 7, I think, years old, inside of his half finished mansion that he was building, while he went and lived in the new house with his wife and their now 3 kids, and then had some guy who was abusing her keep an eye on his daughter at the mansion by himself when she was 7. Okay, these are the stories that you hear our children of today coming out with. So, yeah, they want a baby at 12. Yeah, they want a baby at 13. Yeah, they want to make a family of their own with a guy who's going to love them forever. And hey, 3 weeks of intense love feels like forever when you're 14. You think about it, like together
Of
forever, it could
course.
only be a month when you're 14, but it feels like forever and it feels like it's
Mhm.
gonna last, right?
Hmm.
And they have poor impulse control, and poor reasoning skills. So, you put it all together and you realize that it's a lacking. You don't find a lot of girls from two-parent homes who are coming home pregnant. You don't find that half as much, not even a quarter as much as you do in single parent homes, or in homes where, these are latchkey kids. They rarely see their parents, or, one of the parents is a drug addict, something like that. It's always something like that.
And you know what, you definitely said a mouthful. And see, what people are not realizing, it seems so simple. It seems so simple. It doesn't seem like a big deal going around and just breeding babies like roaches. We don't think it's a big problem, but a lot of people don't realize is this is a domino effect. And this is why the majority of these bastard children, that's what they're called. I apologize. But if they were not conceived through marriage, your child is a bastard child. Half us are bastard children. I mean, it is what it is. I can't change the rules. But the thing about it is, this is why a lot of these children come here screwed up. And if you were one of the few who came into a dysfunctional situation, you were conceived through a dysfunctional situation, it is by the grace of God. If you are
Mhm.
not drinking heavily, if you are not a damn child molester, if you are not, totally dysfunctional, because some of these kids come here dysfunctional and they can't survive. So, and the reason for that, we think these kids are just bad as hell when they come into this world. But what I think has been what's going on, Ruby and Kels, is a lot of these children that are coming here with all of these problems, and we're saying, oh, they bad, they off the chain. They're not bad or off the chain. What has happened is people are breeding with people they're not supposed to be breeding with. Everybody bloodline does not mix. People don't think that deep when you have children. If you meeting a chick from the club and you bang this chick back out, or you met this dude and you let him bang you out in the Motel 6 and boom, you're pregnant. What people don't understand is, and this child gets here. If you're not familiar with a person's bloodline and the dysfunctions and their family tree, or the generational curses within that family tree, what you're not understanding is you're not supposed to breed your children with certain people, because everybody's bloodlines don't mix. Even animals got more sense than human beings. And the reason I state this, because a pig is not going to try to mate with a damn dog. I've never seen a dog try to hump a pig, or vice versa. Even animals got enough sense not to mate with their opposite breed. You're not going to see a bird try to mate with a parrot. I mean, eagle try to breed with the parrot. And even though they're birds, but both are smart enough to know that I'm a toucan bird. That's a eagle. We're not the same kind of birds. Even animals are smart enough to know not to breed with other opposite animals. But human beings, we are not understanding that you can't breed with everybody. Don't just lay down willy-nilly, because some people got bad bloodlines. If you have a daughter from a woman who's very promiscuous, and your daughter ends up promiscuous, screwing every Tom, Dick, and Daryl, do you not realize she probably is adopting a lot of her mother's whorish characteristics?
I, I
Same thing.
I agree with
Yo,
that.
go ahead, interject. We have to be careful who we breed with. We having sex too loosely.
You're right about that because actually, I had a friend years ago. She actually came from a two-parent household. She had her mother, she had her father, had a very comfortable house, looked like a very blissful living. But she was mad fast. You know what I'm saying? Like they was real strict on her. But as soon as she got from under their nose, she just went butt crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And after, as soon as she hit 18 and moved out, she started popping out kids from left to right. And she's been a fiance for like 4 years.
Mm. I
you,
believe it.
you, you know what? Here's the thing though, and because you have to remember something, Mocha. There is a
Mhm.
difference between nature and nurture, right? And so
Mm.
that there's a big problem. Whereas in and because a bunch of things happen, right? And I know you
Mhm.
guys have heard this story before, where a woman will say, "Man, I was sleeping with my boyfriend unprotected. He was coming inside of me for 5 years. I cheated on him once and got pregnant with that guy." Right?
That's usually how it happens.
Interesting,
Yo,
isn't it?
people will hear, or or like the second I left him, I was just having some, breakups. Like, okay, I just got to get my ex out of my system. Boom, pregnant right away, right? So
Mm.
here's the
Mm.
thing: there's a bunch of factors that are going to come into like a woman getting pregnant, just from a biological standpoint, right? So like the sperm and the egg. Trust me, they don't like each other. They're not connecting anyway. But her body in and of itself. And here's the thing, whether we want to acknowledge this or not, our bodies have different responses to different people. And you see a lot of these whorish kind of chicks, whatever, people run through them, but you ask them the quality of the sex they just had with that chick, and it was basically non-existent. She just laid there, like, you let you run through her and whatever, or you told her, get on her knees, do this, do that, she'll do it. But like it wasn't something, definitely wasn't something to write home to mama about, right? It was not something worthwhile. Why? Because she wasn't really turned on or whatever. She just thinks that's her role, that's what she does. Someone asked, she says okay, and he's good looking and he's got abs and whatever, so sure, right? And that's the thing that a lot of people are missing in this day and age. When you say the bloodlines don't mix, well, we're basing for well, women and men, but we're basing attraction on a bunch of superficial things that have nothing to do with our underlying biological underpinnings. That is to say, well, if he's got an 8 pack and he's got this and he's got these eyes and this hair and this skin, well, then he's attractive. So then I will sleep with that guy. But the thing is, your body already knows. Your body knows who's a good match and who's not. And because that good match is the one that, like, the second he gets near you, you're tingly. He might not look like something to everyone else, but to you, he's tingly. Your
Well, so
bloodlines
what?
are going to mix beautifully.
So what's that tingly? Is that like chemistry or is that just gas?
Yeah,
Or
it's
it's
a
like
little, it's a little,
the vagina jumping.
that's a little from column A, a little from column
listen,
B. No,
listen.
you know what it is?
I thought I had a dude making me feel butterflies, and couldn't find out it was just goddamn gas.
It's a
I'm
little
just
bit gas, a
Look,
saying.
it
little
was
bit gas.
gas, wasn't it? It was just gas. It was
Nah.
nothing but gas.
Oh. Okay, Mocha, you've gotten the tingles before. That zing. It's like an
I,
electric zing,
I know,
and it goes to all the right
I
places.
know what you mean.
Yeah, the
I'm being a
vagina.
smart
Mm,
ass.
mm, mm. Yeah. No, because I want men to understand, right? Because they might not know and understand that, as much as
Absolutely.
women might praise the abs and a big
Right.
schlong and this and that, that might not be the person
That's
and
not
the
it.
thing
It's
that makes
that
her
vibe.
tingle.
It's that vibe
Mm-hmm.
and that chemistry. And I don't
Hmm.
mean horniness, because some of these chicks, they think
They was
horniness
thinking.
is chemistry.
That's
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
exactly what I
So
was
some
thinking.
let's face it now.
Right?
Some of our sisters, they don't know no better. They mix chemistry with being horny. Just because you
Mm-hmm.
horny, that don't mean he's the man for you. He may be the man for that night, but that don't mean he's the man for that lifetime. But and this is the thing, because I know that was the question I had asked y'all. Hell, let me goddamn find it. Yeah, the question I had asked y'all was, at what point do you think a single woman starts seeking marriage? I noticed now. I don't know if y'all have been through this or y'all have had friends, but I noticed women really want to get married when all their friends start getting married.
Yep.
When it's
Yeah,
something about when everybody around them is married that really motivates them. I had a girlfriend that was like that. She Once I had got married, she was on a mission to get her a husband. I mean, just instantly. I mean, as long as we both were single, you know, she was cool with it. But the moment I got married, I don't know what it is about females, but the moment one of their close friends, and especially if it's a group of y'all, let's say if it's like 3 or 4 of you who all knew each other from college or high school, and everybody gets married, desperation starts to set in real strong when everybody's getting married. Do y'all notice that? Or have y'all ever seen that happen to somebody before? Or
Well, I would
Girl, I
like to.
told you.
I would
Sorry, go
like to
ahead.
say. I would like to say. A couple years ago, that is true. I had a friend. We was. Single. Single, mingling, just having a ball. Then when she got a boyfriend, I got lonely, so I went and got me a boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I could definitely understand that. You want to get married when your friends get married, because when my friend got her a boyfriend, I went and got me one.
Mhm.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Well, it's
mm-hmm,
like I said, it was interesting that, despite being together for 7.5 years, when me and my husband got engaged, between the
mm-hmm.
time we got engaged, I'm being very serious, five single people, between the time we got engaged and when we got married. I won't say exactly when we got married, but I'll say 2 years from the point that we got engaged. Five single people got engaged and married. Five. Not one,
Mm.
not two, five. It was like something out of like a movie. Like it's crazy. How did this even happen? From all walks of life, they all got married, and you're like, wait, what happened? All of you were like dead ass single. Either not interested, couldn't find the right guy, blah blah blah. And one of them, I remember one of them, I asked her, so I said, yeah, so does your husband? Because she had this very stringent list. And I mean, about 5, 6 years ago, I talked to her about this list. I was like, listen, you and this, tell me about your list. This is she read off her list. Oh, must be business minded, must be this, must be that, all this stuff. Must be over this height, must be over under this weight, must be this, must have this. It was long. And the interesting thing about her, this is true, she was a virgin, not a born again virgin, a real live human 36-year-old virgin.
36.
36. She
What?
was waiting. She was waiting till marriage.
Dang.
Not she was a
Wow.
virgin before, and then she went and found God. But one way or the other, it was like, nah, she wanted to wait until marriage, and she really held on to her virginity. Uh, so
That's some
she's
real
30,
power.
right? Like that, she was serious. And so, you got this 36-year-old virgin with her list of 500 million different things that someone has to, fulfill. And I was just kind of like, here's the thing though. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, there's a bunch of intangible things that you actually really need from a man that aren't on that list. You know what I mean? And you literally writing off everyone before the first date who doesn't fall on this list, you're
Mm-hmm.
going to be
Yeah,
alone
list
forever,
is
Pretty
right?
much.
list never worked.
Yeah,
List
no,
never worked. I
never.
mean,
And I mean, I asked her though. I asked her, I said, so how many things from your list does your husband have? And she laughed and she's like, none. I was like, oh, damn. Not even like half. None. Mm-mm,
No. See,
none.
sometimes when you
mm-hmm,
list stuff, sometimes when you list a bunch of stuff that you want, you attract the opposite. Like I could sit up here and say,
always.
yeah, I like a good man with a suit that's doing his thing and stuff like that, and end up getting the gangster. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Mm,
mean, and sometimes your list that don't mean you're going to be qualified to them.
Exactly. That
That's what
too.
I found out. My type, I was never their goddamn type. I found that out the hard way. The dude that I
Yep.
was
Same
checking
for me.
for, he was not checking for Mocha. He was not feeling Mocha. He was not interested in Mocha. My type was never feeling me. And that's what a lot of women are finding out the hard way when we try to, build in our minds to our fantasies of what we think will be the ideal man for us. It don't always work that way. Sometimes your ideal man, believe it or not, your soulmate may be working at Popeyes. Let's keep it 100.
I mean,
Your soulmate may he may have his own little lawn company. You know, it's just that as you become older and you mature and you go from girlhood to womanhood, you realize that your fantasies don't always go into an alignment with your reality. I had
Mhm.
it picked out in high school what I was going to marry. If I read to y'all the list I had when I was in high school, y'all would say, you know what, Mocha is a straight jackass. How in the hell you thought in a million years you was gonna pull that kind of dude, you know? And that's when that's why I said it's important that we go from girlhood to womanhood, realizing that what you thought as a girl, that's not going to work for you once you become a woman. Now, this is my next question that I want to ask y'all on my list. My next question is it better to get married young when you're tight and right, or when you are older and wiser? What is
I,
your take on that?
I would the reason why I would say older and wiser because my auntie she got married at 33,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been together for 15 years, and she passed on,
Mm.
Mm.
and she
Sorry
and
for your loss.
told me that. Yeah, she actually told me that. She said it'll probably be better for you to marry, in your 30s than more so in your
Mm.
20s, because a lot of times people that are married in their 20s are no longer married.
You know what? Young marriage is very hard. I'm not even going to lie. I was 21 when I was playing house, because I'm gonna say that's what it was. Me and my husband, we didn't know nothing about marriage. We was playing house. There's a difference. Grown folks have a marriage and young folks play house. Well, immature folks
Right.
play house.
That very
There's a difference. I wasn't actually married until probably my 5th year is when I learned how to be a wife. Honestly, I ain't knew a goddamn thing about being a wife the first 3 years. I didn't know nothing. I was just a young girl that had got a paper through the court system with my last name changed. But I did not become a wife until my 5th year in marriage is when I learned, because a lot of times as young women we go into these in marriage with this Walt Disney
hmm
fantasy concept of what a wife is. We think we're supposed to just bake cookies, um have the cat, the dog, the boy, the girl, have and honestly, I believe I'm gonna tell you, Barbie really fucked me up.
Yeah, Barbie did. Barbie fucked me
Barbie
up too.
messed me up.
She
The
fucked me up
worst
too.
thing my parents could have gave me was a Barbie, because it gave me delusional
hmm
ideas of what marriage was, because I had the Barbie house, I had the Barbie doll, and I had the Ken, and I had the two little kids or whatever. And at a young age, females, we were taught to be domestic. We already playing with baby dolls. We're already playing with kitchen sets. We're already preparing for wives to become wives at toddlers and not even know it. When you was pushing around that little baby and the
hmm
little play stroller, and you was playing with the tea set and the play food, we was already being domestic. At that
Right, I
time, what
agree.
was the boys doing our age? Boys was playing with the damn little plastic army damn figures. They was playing with little Tonka trucks. Men did not really have no type of, they wasn't programmed to be domestic as quick as we were. We were taught from the beginning. When our moms had us help fold clothes, had us help wash a dish. I was 4 or 5 years old in the kitchen helping my mom bake cookies. We learned at a young age. Well, if you came up in a healthy household, you had a mom that taught you how to be domestic, and you find out over time, the reality of marriage is nothing like what you had in mind. It's absolutely nothing, because it was things that
Mhm.
me and my husband went through that my immaturity was nowhere near prepared to deal with, and that's the bad part about being married young. You coming in so immature. So when you deal with trials and tribulations, you don't know how to handle it. When things get rough, you stepping outside of your marriage versus learning
Right.
how to communicate, because again, you're dealing with your problems from an emotionally underdeveloped place. We was not emotionally developed. So we did not know how to deal with our issues like a husband and wife. And I think that is one of the downfalls of marrying young. And I have a lot of people who tell me, you know, um, when what's the question? People ask me a lot. Um, when do things start getting better in marriage? I've been asked that question a lot. And I really believe this is just a ballpark figure. I think within 10 years. I think
Right.
it really takes 10 years to have a solid marriage. Anything underneath it, it still is, y'all both are still sipping down baby milk. That's my opinion. I think
Mm.
once you hit that 10th year, that century, that's when the marriage begins to level out. Because all the immaturity is out the system, all the childishness. But different strokes for different folks. What is y'all opinion on? I think because poetic had answer. So Ruby, what you think is your opinion? Is it better to marry young while you're tight and right? Or is it better when you're older because you're wiser, you're more mature? I mean, you may be sagging a little bit, you may have a little
Mm.
cottage cheese, but you're more mature. What you think?
See, now here's the thing, and it really depends. I know I give that answer a lot and I say it depends a lot because it does depend. So the thing is that it is better to get married young. You are malleable. You're just starting out in adult life. And that is the perfect time for you to get a wife or a husband. Um, and learn how to be an adult together. And as you guys learn and go through the struggles and the hardships and the frustrations, you guys are both basically at ground zero in life. Um, it will actually bring you closer. It'll bond you stronger. And the home and the habits and the everything that you build will be together. It'll be your home. It'll be your family. Whereas in when you come together, when you're older, it's a lot harder actually. The older you are, the harder it is in that way because you have already been an adult. You've already established an adult life. You've already established what you like and what you don't like and how your kitchen should sit just so and when the garbage goes out and how the garbage looks like this and da 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 da. You've already established all of that. The other person that you're about to live your whole life with has already done that too. So now what you're doing is you're making compromises. You're making compromises on things that you already have established work perfectly the way they are. And that's just, within the household. Forget outside of the household. What about roles? At the end of the day, if she's already started a career and he's already started a career, you know what I mean? And ideally he would rather her stay home to take care of the children. And that used to be her ideal too. But now she's got this career that's important to her. Well, now it involves a lot more changing of dynamics, a lot more compromising the older that you get, I think, when it comes into getting into a marriage. But now, with that being said, the problem is that in the society that we're in, where we see marriage as more than just a partnership, love must be a factor. It is going to be more difficult for you to choose a mate. So the problem is that we are better at choosing mates the older that we get. We would be better at choosing a spouse the older that we get. But with that being said, there's a lot of advantages to being young when you get married if you've chosen the right mate, if you have the right mindset about what marriage is supposed to be. I know for myself, that's what I wanted. I wanted it my whole life. I was ready to get married at 16. You could have married me off at 16. I would have stayed with my husband forever. That's what I wanted.
Yeah, that
Right.
is true. That is true what you're saying about getting married at a young age. But at a young age, sometimes I feel like, as the years go on, it's the pressure, you know what I'm saying, that cause, a lot of distance. You know what I'm saying? Because one might want to progress and the other might want to be stagnant.
But see, that's the thing.
Versus when you're older, you know what I'm saying, you're set and you guys could just come
Right.
together.
But see, that's the difference,
Hmm.
though. It's actually what you just said is actually going to be harder when people are older because when you're younger, oftentimes you don't really know where the hell life's going anyway. You don't have an identity or an agenda. So if you have the proper conception and idea of relationships and marriage, which is that a woman submits to her man and her man leads, he is the one, he is the leader, he's the one with the game plan, he's the one with the vision. It's your job to support that so you guys can be successful at that endeavor. Well, if you have that conception when you're 18 and you get into marriage, it's very easy for you to do that because you don't have an identity yet. You're still building it. You don't have a
Right.
job or a role yet in life. You're still
Mhm.
building that. I think it's harder when you're older to submit to a man's game plan unless it's exactly what your game plan was, because you have a game plan, and the older you get, the more you've probably established that. I mean, you might be in your 30s, might have already bought a house
It,
for
it's
real. And you might already have a 401k. You might already have an opinion about which insurance company you should use for life insurance or whatever. You know what I mean? Because you've already been done, live life in a lot of ways. If you had children, even more so, because you have a way that you think your children should be parented. Now he's going to come in and you're supposed to submit and let him lead. But the problem is that you have a lot of opinions already about how your children should be raised. You know that he's not the biological father of these children. There's a lot of complications that come in the older that you get, I think.
Okay.
yeah, and you definitely you made a point there. It's unfortunate that sometimes as you become older, you become set in your ways.
That's
And it's
true.
kind of hard for somebody to mold you. Especially it's kind of like, and that's why single people who have been single for so long, they have the hardest time being in a relationship, because when you've been so used to coming and going as you want, there's no fence, there's nobody that you have to consent with and say, babe, do you mind if I go out tonight with the fellas, or you mind if I go out with the girls or whatever? You get so used to doing you and not having to
Mm-hmm.
go through and get somebody's permission.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hard time, because you done got programmed to be in a certain way, and it is kind of, oh, these pop-ups are driving me insane. It is kind of harder for people who've been by themselves for a long time to learn how to mold and blend into being in a
Mm,
relationship. But
Mm-hmm.
but it goes back to like Ruby says, it all depends, because some young women are not wife material. Some men are not husbands at the age 21, 22, 23, because it's still that selfishness. When you young, it's
Right.
so much selfishness of, I want to do what I want to do. You're a young husband and you making the money. You may not feel it's necessary to pay your bills first,
Mm-hmm.
because you want to go hang out with the boys. You want to go buy the newest Jordans, and if you are going to be young in a marriage, it's important that you have older people that's guiding you. If you have a
yeah.
grandmother or somebody who's been married for a long time, or parents who have been married for a long time, it's very important that you have older people that's kind of mentoring you. Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
young, you're going to get your advice from all the wrong places. You're going to get it from your homeboys who don't know nothing, your homegirls who don't know nothing, and it becomes a very sticky situation, unfortunately. So, um, that's just something we have to be very cautious of. But I'm proceed to my next question. But I'm definitely vibing where the both of you are coming from. So it's a give and take. For some people, it works when they're younger. For some people, it works when they're older. It just all kind of depends on your mindset and kind of where you are mentally. Um, my next question is, name three things you think a woman needs in order to be a good wife.
I'll say one of them is patience, understanding, consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Ruby, come on in.
Yeah, those are pretty solid enough.
hmm
Very true. You have
Okay.
to have all of those things to be all those things to be a wife. So what was the three things
Right.
you said? You said
Patience,
patience
understanding, consistency.
and consistency. See, this is something that a lot of women don't care to discuss. It's too many women out here who want to get married, but
Right
they
away.
don't. Huh?
Like right away. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they get a man, next week they want to get
Absolutely.
married.
They want to get married. They feel like they time they clock is getting ready,
Wait,
is running out of time.
Lady
Yeah.
Mocha, Priest Brooklyn said a valid driver's license. Like, really?
Wait. He's a mess. Priest is a
Mm-hmm.
straight mess. Yes, Craig. Raw, no condom. I always tell it like it is. I don't give no smooth messages around here. It's not gonna go in easy. It's gonna be raw with no condom. You know how I operate.
Yeah, it's
Ever
gonna be
since I
pretty
said
rough.
that, Craig always says that. Raw, no condom.
It's gonna be real rough.
Well, yes, I got to do it rough. What's up, James Harvey? Good to see you. But yeah, it's important that we have those elements. It's too many women who want to get married, but they don't have the qualities of what it takes to be a wife. You do have to
Mm-hmm.
be patient. You do have to be understanding, and you do have to be consistent. It's more than just planning a wedding, because there's too many women that's infatuated with with the idea of marriage. They're actually having a marriage. They're too concerned about the venue, the wedding dress, the cake, how many of their girlfriends going to come, how many families flying in to attend a event. But they're not really prepared. They don't have all the qualities that it takes to be a wife. And you have to have those things, because if you don't have it, you're wasting your money on that expensive wedding dress. You're wasting your
Right.
time having all of these people come into your event. And I notice people who go all out their way and have the biggest weddings, they're not even married. They're
Yeah,
not even together, because
right.
it was more about the wedding than actually having a marriage.
You're right about that
Mm-hmm.
because they feel the understanding. What they got to understand is that your job really starts once you're in that marriage. It doesn't stop once you get him. It starts once he's there. You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of times that's the reason why it doesn't last, because once they are married, that's it. They
Yes.
don't understand that it's just the beginning.
It's just the beginning. And the reality sets in, because now you got to deal with that joker. The wedding is over.
Exactly.
All the fronting, all the flexing, all the showboating. Okay, now y'all got to deal with the real deal behind closed doors. Y'all got these bills.
Hmm.
Y'all got these kids. You have these in-laws that's meddling all in your business. Stuff gets real when you get married. What's your intake, Ruby, on what's the three qualities it takes to be a good wife?
Well, I've been thinking while y'all have been talking because I'm like three. I think
I'm
you need
sure
way
it's
more
several
than three.
more, and you're welcome
Uh,
to add more.
yeah. I'll definitely say, I think Kels is on the right track with hers. Adding to that, I will have to say that um honesty, respect,
Hmm.
Of course.
Definitely.
um,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding. And let me explain what I mean by understanding. Because the thing is, in this day and age, what you hear a lot of women do, it's like, so this man tells you that his goal in life, right? So part on this train that you're about to jump on, he's gonna get you a house with 4 rooms for all the kids, and he's going to get you a car, and he's going to be a multimillionaire, and whatever, and he's going to bring you along for that, and you're going to go to all the nice restaurants, and you're going to go to all the premieres, you're going to be whatever, you're going to have this beautiful life, right? And so you sign up, you jump on that train, right? And then immediately, right, so this patience does come into play here. Immediately, though, you go, where's my house? This is an apartment with 1 room.
Right.
Right? Where are we about to put the baby
Mm-hmm.
at? And so he explains to you, okay, babe, it's a 5-year plan, right? But that's not what you said. You said I'm gonna live in a beautiful house when I get married. Now I gotta go tell my cousin Lakeisha that I live in an apartment. No, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no.
Uh-huh.
Pretty
Right?
much.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say understanding, that's the thing. It's again your ability to understand what comes out of his mouth, for your ability to understand the plan, for your ability to understand what he's going through, for your ability to understand what he needs in a moment. Because that's the thing. The happiest marriages between two people, they might bicker at each other, make fun of each other, put each other down, even. You'd be like, damn, do they hate each other? But they are madly in love still, right? They understand each other. And that understanding, to have someone who understands you without words. Um, I was watching a show, and I think it was House. But anyway, and so this maitre d', he was so in love with this woman who came in to his restaurant like 50 years ago. And right before he was going to ask her out, some other guy came in and asked her out. And this was her favorite restaurant. So they came in week by week, and week by week, he watched her for 50 years. And he said at first they used to talk all the time. They were so in love and blah, blah, blah. And then, over time, the conversation got less and more quiet to the point as in the last years, they weren't even talking to each other at all. Um, and so he thought, well, basically, she's been miserable with this man the whole time anyway. And so now I guess something exploded at the restaurant. And so now they're in the same hospital room. And, so what ends up happening is he gets to overhear her, and she says that, he saw that as misery. The less you have to talk about, the more miserable you are. But for her, it wasn't. This is the deepest of deep loves and connections. They no
Mm-hmm.
longer had to speak in order for them to understand each other. You know what I mean? They no longer needed the words in order for them to feel a sense of comfort and bonding with each other. You know what I mean? They both could sit there and, just be in a quiet moment and just feel love radiating from the other, even though they're
Right.
not looking up from their menus, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have an understanding of your husband, so you understand him and he understands you, but if you understand him, then you understand the moves that he's making and what they mean. You understand, even though he messes up everything and whatever, you understand his intentions, you understand his heart, you understand his motivations. So that understanding is going to be something at the end of the day. Yeah, you got to grow to develop a lot of these understandings. They're not going to just, come for free. But that being said, a lot of these understandings, and the lack thereof, that is what ends up pulling people apart because they don't understand each other. They don't
Hmm.
get each other. They
Mm-hmm.
don't feel each other. So without that understanding, how can you grow a happy marriage? How can you grow a successful family in life?
And that's true. And you know what? I know this is. I'm starting to notice this a lot with these marriages nowadays. People are throwing in the towel over every little thing.
Right.
People are running to get divorce papers like, 3 pancakes at IHOP.
You know,
People
Mm-hmm.
at the sign of trouble, people are not willing to endure. And when you take those vows say for better or for worse for a reason. Because
Yeah.
the worst is yet to come. It's coming. It's going to be stuff y'all going to go through that you never thought in a million years. Y'all may lose a child together. God forbid
Mm-hmm.
you get one of y'all get in a car accident and become paraplegic. Y'all gonna lose parents, family members. Y'all gonna experience deaths together, losing loved ones, having to go to each other's funerals. Um, you're gonna lose homes together. It's things. It's heavy trials and tribulations.
right.
And I've seen these couples that they haven't even gone through nothing that heavy and are going and are divorcing right away, especially like these Hollywood couples. You see it all the time. And a lot of people we think because they have money, they're automatically going to be happy. We figure they have no worries. Their house is paid for. They ain't got to worry about no light bill, no mortgage, no whatever. But money cannot keep a relationship together. What a lot of people not understanding, the trick to a marriage sustaining is being able to weather the storms. Realizing that every day is not going to be cake and ice cream.
Right.
It's going to be days when you can't stand being around each other. It's things that are going to happen. You may even experience adultery in
Mhm.
your marriage, rather if that's on that woman's end or that man's end. And this brings me to my next question, because this happens a lot in marriage. Um, do you think wives that have been cheated on by their husbands, do you think they could ever really recover from being cheated on? We
To a
know men
certain
ain't going to
extent,
accept it, but I'm wondering from women perspective.
I mean, they might accept his apology or forgive him, but she's gonna always throw it in his face.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So yeah, she'll forgive, but she'll never forget.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think just to piggyback on what you were saying, I think the reason why, for one, we women, we are emotionally wired.
Hmm.
We don't let things go easily. We just don't, because It's going to always be in the back of your mind. What did she have that I didn't have? What was it about me where he was willing to risk what we had to go deal with her? You know, a woman, one thing about women, we constantly beat ourselves up. And I've
Yeah.
had men ask me, and men say, yeah, I made a mistake. I messed up. You know, she won't let it go. You know, she keeps saying
Right.
she forgave me, she with me, but she keeps bringing it up because as women, we internalize everything. It's so bad. This is to make men understand how bad women internalize stuff. We internalize things. For instance, if we catch you cheating, and you say, and we see this chick, we find a chick you've been messing with, we see she's this 300 pound, I mean, wildebeest looking, chick or
Respucia.
whatever. The first thing, this is how much we internalize stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, ladies. When this just in a scenario, and we see this wildebeest, the first thing that's come to my mind was, how in the hell did you lift them damn thighs up? I mean, just one thigh look like it's built like a Toyota Tundra truck.
Ooh,
We over internalize every freaking detail. You know?
You always try to find the worst. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? The worst. Like, oh, you can't find, the pussy because the thighs is covering, or, oh my goodness, she look like Norbit or Respucia, or, oh my goodness, you know what I'm saying? You try to find the worst, but, you got to think about it. It was something good
Yeah.
for him to get.
Yeah. And you, it makes you eat yourself up alive, because you're constantly comparing. Because I think women, even the most confident woman, has insecurity
Right.
by nature. I think the majority of us are insecure in some form or another. Now, some women, they too damn insecure now. Man can't even walk to the damn mailbox without you peeping outside the window. Some women too extreme. But by nature, we are insecure by nature. So when you find out your husband has cheated on you, it takes a toll on you emotionally, because you're going to automatically feel like there's something, you wasn't pleasing him enough. You didn't make him happy enough. When in actuality, and I say this to a lot of women, if a man has cheated on you, that says nothing about you. That says everything about him. Because it's been this, a lot of times people, there there's not enough love that your husband or wife can give you to make you feel validated. Some people are going to always look for extra ego boost. Somebody's gonna always look for somebody to stroke their ego, no matter how much their husband or their wife, love them. Some people just, they still fall into that trap of
Mhm.
temptation, because again, it still speaks volumes for low self-esteem.
Right.
A, a lot of times it doesn't say something was wrong with you. Just because, I forgot her name, Ali Sahazard. I don't know her name, but she's really phenomenal speaker, and I love her.
Horizontally. Yep.
Yeah, I love listening to her. I mean, she's definitely, she's truth to the 10th power. And she stated in one of her messages, she said, if a man cheats on you, she said by nature, their nature is different from ours. It does has nothing to do with you. That is just their nature. She further stated, she said, what man do you know is going to be with one woman for the whole 75 years of his life? What man on this planet, you know, can you uh expect to just be with one woman for the rest of his life? I just think that women who have experienced it, it does take a toll on you as a woman. Because you want to be the only apple of your husband's eye.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, it does happen, it can happen. I respect a woman who says, you know what, I can't deal with it, I have to leave. And I understand a woman who says, okay, it was a mistake, but I'm willing to, hang in there for the long haul. That hopefully he learned. We can move forward. What is y'all intake as far as how cheating affects how a wife feels about her marriage?
See, that's the thing though. And I'm gonna disagree a little bit here because The thing is that we're talking about marriage. We're not talking about just casual dating.
Right.
So regardless of the man in general, if he chose to walk down the aisle and say I do, take a woman as his wife, that woman is something to him. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what it comes down to, and I will say this forever, is that once you get to a place where the relationship is really something to him, then if he is cheating, there's probably a reason. And the thing that makes women eat themselves up alive is because they don't know. And this is why you'll see it replayed on TV even when a woman gets cheated on by her man and he tells her what's the first thing he does? He starts quizzing her, right? Okay, what did you do? So where did you meet her? And who gave who a number? Who made the first move, right? What positions were you in? She needs to know every little thing, right? Because what's eating her alive is the fact that she doesn't know every little thing. But here's the part that a lot of people miss. So they go and they torture themselves with all the details, and then they call their girlfriends and they go, "Why would he do this?" She doesn't know. You know who knows? He knows. Right? You know who knows what's wrong with your marriage and why it's so disjointed that rather than come to you and try to fix it, he stepped out to go and get some validation elsewhere? He knows. So the only person who's going to help you understand is him. So as much as you're mad and you hate him, you can't look at his face and whatever. Don't ask your girlfriends these questions. They don't know. He's the only person who knows. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. Now, if you are, remember I said you need understanding. So, if you actually care about this marriage, then what you're not going to just focus on is his penis went into someone else's vagina or mouth or whatever, because that's
Right.
not productive. What you're going to focus on is why, right? I focus on why all the time, actually. I think that it's way more interesting than what anyway, but it's also more helpful, right? Knowing what happened is not going to help you solve anything. Knowing why it happened might. Where was the breakdown in this relationship, right? Because a lot of women will go, yeah, but I sleep with him 5 days a week, and I pressed his shirts, and I did this and I did that, and it wasn't enough. Okay, did you ask him? What was going on? Now he's gonna go, no, babe, you're perfect, or whatever, right? Because he's groveling. But
Right.
forget that all for a second. What is lacking in this relationship? Because something must be. And unless you get to the root cause of what's lacking, what happened, what the problem was, he's just going to do it again. That's what it comes down to. And you know what? A lot of women don't ask those questions because they're scared. So if you're scared,
Right.
then yeah, okay, you're scared of the answer. You know why? Because you're scared he's going to say, I don't love you anymore. You're scared he's going to say, because her pussy's tighter, because her thighs are nicer, because she got a fatter ass. You're scared of some answer that you can't fix
Mm-hmm.
or change that is going to devastate you. But
Mm-hmm.
oftentimes, a man's not going to cheat on his wife because she's got a fatter ass than you, right? I'm very happy in my marriage. My wife makes me deliriously happy. I'm so fulfilled. But look, that girl's got a fatter ass. I'm going to sleep with her. To be honest with you, if we are going to sit there and give men so little credit, then basically we're also infantilizing them. We're making them into uncontrollable children with hard-ons, and that's not the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just like women, we see things that we find very attractive. It doesn't mean we sleep with all of them, right? Men see things, women
Exactly.
that they find very attractive. And you know what? He managed not to cheat on you until right now. Why did he do it now? What's going on? Normally, there's a breakdown. Do you care to fix the breakdown? If you care to fix the breakdown, then you guys will work it out. Because what you'll do is you're going to figure out what's broken. He's going to tell you what's broken, and you're going to listen with understanding. You're not going to listen just to shoot it down. You're going to listen with understanding. And you
Right.
know what? He's going to listen to you with understanding, because normally the issue has something to do with you. You're going to explain why it is that you've been doing that thing. Okay, well, we haven't been having sex. Well, I'm 8 months pregnant and I'm not horny, and then you're going to
Mm-hmm.
go back and forth. Well, then he's going to say, well, that's what the problem is, right? What he should say at that point is there something I can do maybe to help get you in the mood? Because obviously I'm not the kind of guy who can wait. Okay, you know what I mean? And so on and so forth. Communication is key. And
Mhm.
people aren't communicating. Priest said it earlier, and he said
Right.
communication, it's a huge thing. And unless people are going to be willing to communicate, you got to drop all pretense. You got to drop, honestly, all pride. You got to drop all ego and be willing to communicate. If you have that kind of relationship, you probably wouldn't have gotten to this place anyway. But given the fact that, okay, you did, if you can develop that, then of course you can get over infidelity. You can get over anything. I personally am not that big of one of those people who like cries on infidelity. I care more about honesty and openness than I do fidelity. Um,
And
but
you know what? That's the truth. But you know, I notice a lot of people are not is not allowing that to defeat their marriage.
mhm,
You know, people, women are not going anywhere. Wives are not going anywhere. You no side chick can call and be like, just calling to let you know, Daryl was to my house last night. He left his Tommy Hilfiger boxers over here. Okay, hon. Well, just drop them off to me so I can wash them for him. You know, wives
mhm.
ain't bucking. You know, and you know because it's one of those. You know, I realize when it comes to cheating, um, it's one of those things that sometimes things don't always have to be wrong on the home front. Like Priest mentioned, it was about opportunity. It does not mean, and a lot of these side chicks think that. A lot of these side chicks think that if somebody's husband stepped out on them, that automatically he was not happy. That's a man's infidelity does not have nothing to do with his unhappiness at home. Because in some cases, men are getting everything they need from their wives. They're getting the sex regularly. They're getting, you know, and of course, it's going to be some drought days because you've been married. You're married now. That same excitement and passion that was there, it's going to burn. It's going to burn out here and there because you got bigger responsibilities. You got children. You got bills. It's going. That's to be expected. But I think that sometimes it's not always something wrong on the home front. I've heard cases in which things were going on personally with that husband and he did not share it with the wife. I've heard men say, I lost my job and couldn't even tell my wife that I
Mhm.
lost my job.
Right.
So I started hanging out in the streets trying to get my mind. And you know what? That's how the enemy works. That's why we have to stay prayed up
You're right
when it comes
about
to these
that.
marriages because the enemy knows when to attack your husband and the enemy knows when to attack your wife. If you're already going through a moment, y'all arguing, getting into it, here comes Satan, 6'7", Stacy
Yep.
Adam Gator shoes,
You know what I'm
Armani
saying?
suit, that low haircut with the waves, that nice, neat trim beard. You know, the enemy knows how to set you up. You know, the enemy is going to bring you what you like. If the enemy knows you like chocolate cake, it's going to bring you chocolate cake. The
Chocolate cake.
enemy
Yep.
cannot tempt you with something you don't like. Enemy can't tempt me with cigarettes because I don't smoke cigarettes. People can smoke around me all day. I'll never want a cigarette because that's not one of my temptation. Now, if people eating cheesecake or red velvet cake around
Ooh,
me,
I love red velvet cake.
now now that's and I do a lot of baking. I bake all of that stuff, Kels. I do all of that stuff.
Ooh.
I'm bake and I be doing some heavy ass baking. I just learned how to bake my own biscuits from scratch. I did that. And now I know how to do my own cinnamon rolls. I'm making those tonight too. I just been baking my ass off like crazy. I know I'm getting old. I'm becoming my grandmother Lula Mae Smalls because I'm baking my ass off and just every little thing. Thank you, Keenan Richards. I appreciate it. Ladies, one of the guys in the room says, hello, ladies, just sitting back listening. So and he sent the $10 donation. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
some guys are seeing we're a non-ratchet ass movement. You know, we're having
Definitely not ratchet.
conversations like intelligent black women. We're not on here bashing black men. We're not on here bashing black women.
Of
We're
course.
just sharing knowledge and wisdom. You know what I mean? Because that's what the black community needs and stuff. But you know, just you know, I'm just at a different place. As you become older and married, you find yourself doing things that older people do. I'm baking. I'm going into, you know, other levels. You know, I'm into other things. You know, as you become older, you just mature. You just start looking at life differently.
You do. You
The, the,
really,
the,
really do.
the thing is, as I was saying, you have to be careful how the enemy knows how to tempt you. Again, he's not going to tempt you with what you don't like. Like I said, I can sit around people who smoke crack. That's not going to tempt me to want to do it. I don't
Oh,
do crack.
no.
Ain't nothing you can do to tempt me with that. But he knows what to bring and how to bring it. He will bring that enemy at your most vulnerable moment. And that's why, as a man, you have to be careful, because a lot of these demons, they got these demons got the big butts,
They
got the big
raggedy.
big breasts, these raggedy ants. They straight spiritual vampires.
Mm-hmm. No
They
exception.
aim is to steal, kill, and destroy. And this is what I'm starting to notice too. And I'm gonna leave it at this point. What I'm starting to notice too. What's up, Cool Jet? Thank you for stopping by. What I'm starting to notice is what's going on with these side chicks. I'm realizing this is the key to them. I'm starting to realize that it's not so much just the dick that they want anymore. That's part of it, but that's not the main thing. And I'm about to break down the elements. I know that's not the main thing. I know a lot of dudes are thinking she just want the dick, she just want the dick. No, I'ma tell you what the new thing is now. For all of you guys that are still kind of gullible to the game, getting your wood is not enough anymore. The new thing, this is the new thing. The new thing is to destroy you. Back in the day, a woman could just get your wood and be happy. You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't even tell your wife. She wouldn't even go to the same church your wife went to. She would just be very discreet, because she was just pleased with just getting the wood. You get what I'm saying? So back then, women were discreet because they was happy with just getting that, and that was good enough. But what's going on now, and this is why men have to be even more careful these days, stepping outside of their marriages or their relationship. You're engaged to somebody, or you serious, you're in a committed relationship, other than being married. If you committed to a woman, you have to be careful, because what these females now, they want to destroy. They want to
Mm-hmm.
destroy you. Just getting your penis ain't enough. They want to ruin your career. They want to ruin your marriage. They want to ruin your name, ruin your legacy. It's all about destroying you. These
Yep.
women don't just sleep with you just to sleep with you. They want you to keep sleeping with them, because the more you sleep with somebody, what happens is you tend to get comfortable. Because once you have taken it to that level and y'all have become physically involved, now what tends to happen is we let our guard down. Once you pull your pants down, you don't let your guard down already. Cause you're getting ready to make a move with somebody who you don't really know that well. Because what y'all are doing is, sex is not just sex. It's a spiritual transference. You're transferring spirits. When you become intimate with somebody, you're building soul ties. So you wonder why you acting crazy, you snapping, you have all these damn different crazy ass mood swings, and you can't explain it. Is because when you sleep with somebody, you're not just transferring fluids, you're transferring spiritual vampires. And a lot of people are not understanding there's a lot of demonic forces out here.
Yup.
People don't think it's real. It's real. There's some demonic ass forces out here. And people is playing with it, thinking sex is just sex. You build soul ties with somebody, that person is forever joined to you. It don't matter if you just slept with them one time. It don't matter if it was just oral sex. Even if there was no penetration, you still had a sexual encounter with that other individual. And what happens during sex, because people don't understand, sex is a spiritual thing. I know y'all don't want to believe that. I know y'all want to believe it's just a wham bam, thank you, ma'am, I get it, quit it, and move. No, that's a spiritual connection. So keep in mind that you may be sleeping with somebody that's demonically driven, somebody that's spiritually demonic. They may be spiritually demonic. So you have to be careful. You are exchanging spirits with that person when y'all have sex together.
You are right, Lady Mocha. Can I say one thing? I really
Sure,
hope
go ahead,
that
add on in.
the men are taking notes on what you're saying and understand that these low budget, bottom feeding raggedy ants are out to destroy women. So,
Mm,
when they come encounter with a man that has a wife or a woman, their whole goal is to destroy the woman,
that's
destroy her
thank you.
household, her whole
Thank you.
life. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, no, yeah, yeah, that you kind of you picked up where I left off. I couldn't finish getting that part. I was trying to think how to say it, but you already put it out. The woman is trying to destroy the other woman. And
Hmm.
and you said it perfectly. I mean, you hit it right on the damn nail. What these men are not realizing is these women are out to hurt your wife because they want what your wife has. This is
Hmm.
deep. This is deep. It's not just about your ego, bro. You thinking it's about you. Cause she let you hit it standing up. She let you hit it to the left. She hit it to the, you thinking your ego getting stroked, and you're not understanding. You have signed the deal with the devil. Damn. You signing the deal with the devil. These women want to destroy your career, your job. Now that they have this Me Too movement out, yo,
You feel me? They're taking a
these
tour.
fellas
Have you
better
heard of
really
that?
watch the hell out with this Me Too movement, yo.
I heard they was taking a tour.
A tour,
Yeah.
I won't be. I won't. I would not be a bit surprised.
It's like, why don't y'all just stay over there in your little corner, and you know what I'm saying, and just petition amongst yourselves.
Yes, yes, yes. That's what I'm saying. Men have to. It's the thing is. It's so much more to lose now.
Yes,
Back
it
then,
is.
you used to get away with sleep or something with somebody, and you ain't had to think much of that shit. You know what I mean? Everybody going about their business. But let me tell you something. What these men are not understanding, it's a lot of broken women out here.
Yes.
They're broken, and they want to break other happy homes. While you thinking it's about you and you getting your rocks off and you having your good old time, you not understanding. You signing a deal with the devil. You just open your door to the devil. And do you not realize that when you sleep with these women on the outside, do you not realize you take that spirit home with you?
Mm-hmm.
And you think your wife can't sense that shit
Come
because
on.
we have what's called women's intuition.
Yes.
Just because we're not confronting you, like, oh, I know you've been to Keisha's house last night. I know you was banging her back. Women, we know because once that spirit has entered into your household, you can't shake that shit. I don't care if you stop by the grocery store and pick up some roses to try to act like you ain't slept with nobody. I don't care if you go take a shower and you wash off with Irish spring soap for a whole 45 minutes. You cannot wash that spirit. You can't wash that spirit off. You might could wash that nut off or that extra secretion or whatever, but you can't wash that spirit. What? Because you have to realize you have built a soul tie with that person you slept with. So once you are in a marriage and you sleep outside of that marriage, you have broken that covenant. That covenant is tainted. You have poisoned it. It's kind of like, for instance, if I pour you a glass of water, Kales, if I poured you a glass of water and it's fresh water, if I pour some damn poison in it, it's tainted. I can't remove that poison out the water. You get that? It's not removable. If that makes any sense to anybody,
Yes, it
spirits are
does.
not removable. It's not like vinegar and oil where it don't mix. Spirits are liquefied. You can't remove it. Once it's there, you are stuck with that. That's what people. And same thing for women. You can't sleep with Daryl across town and think because you coming home cooking and cleaning for your husband, you ain't did nothing. Because by nature, guess what? Women, we are receivers. When a man sleeps with us, he's leaving something in us. Okay? He's leaving because we are the ones that are receivers. So whenever we are sleeping with men, this is why a lot of women are bipolar and crazy. I'm telling you, because they done had too many different dicks. I'm gonna be frank with you. If you done been the type of female, you done slept with too many damn dudes. You got all this different DNA mixed up in you. Because women, when we become intimate with men, they leave something on us. We're receivers. So you can put on your Mac makeup, you could buy your new hair weave. It's not gonna cover up all that spiritual DNA that's in your body. It's not that's not that you're not going to be able to erase that. And that's the reason why some of these sisters around here bipolar, acting crazy. And you know what? In some cases, a lot of them are acting so masculine. You know why they acting so masculine? Because they done been with too many different dudes. They done been laid too much. They don't know how to be feminine because they done had too many masculine dudes roughing them up in the bedroom.
Real
See,
truth.
when you done been with too many different men have touched you, it confuses the spirit in your body. Your spirit don't know the difference between love and lust. And sometimes if you've been too heavily intimately involved, some of these women cannot get an orgasm because, believe it or not, people don't want to look at it this way, but an orgasm is a gift for married people. That's supposed to be a pleasurable gift for a husband and a wife. That's who it is for. But what has happened is the world has learned to abandon the way God has designed things and do things in their own way. And this is the reason why we have all the problems we got. This is the reasons why we got the diseases, the STDs, all of these children outside of the marriage and stuff, because people have learned to allow their lust to overrule their common sense. And this is the reason why we have all the problems we have. So for some of you, until you get some real spiritual cleansing and healing, you're going to continue to be stagnant, spiritually stagnant. You wonder why you're not happy. You wonder why you got all these mood swings. It's all these different spirits that you have collected along the way with every person you slept with.
That is the fact.
And that's my intake on it.
Very well said.
It is what it is. We want to pick out. The thing is, people want to do what they want to do, but the consequences is very drastic. You can do what you want, but you can't choose the outcome. That's the dangerous part about it.
Right.
So you really have to think twice. I don't care how good she looks. I don't care how good he looks. Let me tell you something. The devil is sending he's trying to recruit as many souls because the devil know he ain't got a lot of time.
Because
So
the
yeah,
devil's best trick is illusion.
absolutely. 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 That's exactly what it is. The more in these day and age, the more good it look, the more dangerous it is.
Yep. Yes. Let me clap on that one.
that,
Yes.
that's the way
Yes.
that's the way I look at it. I mean, you can't underestimate yourself. You can't underestimate folks, and you can't walk around with these stereotypes. It's only black women. It's only black men. You got some white devils out there. You got some Puerto Rican devils out there. You
Yep.
got some Latino devils out there. Devils come in all shapes and colors.
All you
Dismiss the
got to do is
stereotype.
ask the white woman or the Latina woman. All you got to do is ask them. Don't just assume.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's real out here in the battlefield. So my thing is, I get, this channel is not all about entertaining. We don't have enough drama because we're not on here cussing and going back and forth on each other, and we're not bashing all the men, and we're not bashing all the women. But this is the medicine that the black community needs. This is the type of medicine that they need. This is knowledge. It's very important that we pass this type of information on to the younger generation that's coming up before us, because we're not going to always be here. So to pass them this knowledge and this wisdom. So it's very important that we share with them this knowledge so these young people, they don't fall, the next generation, they don't fall into that same entrapment. But as we were saying earlier, it's too many people in the black community, they want to be entertained. They don't want to be educated.
They
It's
want
all
to be
about, going where the drama is.
right. They want to be Stevie J and Rashida and all them from Love and Hip
Right.
Hop Atlanta.
Exactly. Exactly. And not even all their skeletons coming out in the closet. I mean, no, you
Right.
can't be up here idolizing these relationships. I don't care if they Jay-Z, Beyonce, I mean, Wendy Williams. I mean, look at the hell she going through. She been
Yeah.
gossiping about everybody else's problems for the longest. And now here it is, her husband, Kevin Hunter, done knock up some chick. Now some dude done came out claiming that him and Kevin Hunter, they've been bunkie partners.
So now she's a
Fudge
part of her own.
fashion.
So now she's a part of her own gossip.
Absolutely. Is it you
Okay.
live by the sword, you die by the sword. Yeah.
Right.
Now they're talking about her.
Right.
Yeah, so she's her all her issues is all over. It's all over the tabloids. And I just did a video on this not too long ago. I was stating that this is why, as men and women, you never put your spouse on a pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
Never put your spouse on a pedestal because people can make mistakes and let you down.
Yep.
You have to give people room to disappoint you. Don't put your wife or your husband up there all high and mighty like my wife is all of this and my husband is all of that, because when them jokers go out and shame you got to walk down hall of shame. I love my husband, but I'm not gonna put him up there on the pedestal like he can never do me wrong. He can never disappoint me. He can never shame me. You set yourself up for failure
Yes.
when you constantly fronting. Like your marriage is invincible and y'all don't have them kind of problems. I mean, it's just too much facades and stuff. But I'm definitely glad we've been able to do this content. Ruby, are you there? I hope I didn't just shut you out unless she's taking a call or something like that. Or maybe she had to do something.
Yeah, I think she
Yeah.
on mute.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I guess she'll get back on whenever she gets a chance. But definitely, this definitely was a very good panel. I'm just hoping that it would be nice that if black men and black women had more conversations like this, instead of all of this chaos and pettiness and all this clout chasing in the YouTube streets. It's too many people trying to get recognition,
Yep.
and they
Oh Lord.
becoming
I am
prostitute
so
panels.
sorry. I am so
Oh, you
sorry.
fine? You
I
good? No, we kept it
I
going.
had to
I
take a
mean,
call. I had
brother
to take a
saying,
call. I apologize profusely because I was really up in the conversation, and an important call came, and I was just like, "Oh, I told you guys before they were supposed to call me at 6, and they called now."
girl,
So
I
I
totally
apologize.
no me. You good? Me and Poet, we kept it going. We was just talking about all kind of stuff because I'm gonna get ready to wrap everything up anyway. Because I know it's the weekday and everybody has to work tomorrow. You know what I mean? So and I definitely felt this was a very very powerful panel tonight. I feel like we broke down so many different elements to different things. And yeah, Ruby, when we get a chance, I would like to speak with Ashley. I like to speak with people first. Before
Hmm.
I bring them on board, I'm very particular about that. I just want to make sure we all,
Oh yeah,
me and her have an understanding. But sure,
yep.
we can add, I'm all for positive black women. I just want to
Hmm.
abandon the ratchet, bitter black woman movement. I'm just so over these chicks that are going to these man cave panels, siding with the dudes, but then behind closed doors, you siding with the other women. I mean, it's just too much shade and
Well, a
too
lot of
much
Well,
times, a
and
lot
falsehood.
of
that's
times when they be doing that, they be looking for a trick.
Hmm.
yeah.
Men,
And
I'm
are
telling
you
you,
listening? I wonder if
it's
the men. I hope the men in the audience is listening. They're looking for a trick.
it's a lot of horny people in the YouTube streets.
well, you know what? And the thing is, and here's the thing. So, we want to talk about, hey, listen, why aren't they promoting, and supporting and bigging up more black, positive black women with positive messages about not just black women, but black men and black families, our black children.
Right.
And so, the thing is that, yeah, it's true. We need that. We need that a lot because as much as it would be nice to think otherwise, at the end of the day, women are programmed to do the things that they're doing to get mates, right? And who are the mates? Men. But that being said, we can definitely help in that cause by making sure that we are supporting positive black women that are having these positive messages. And so when we need to find them, right? We need to find them. We need to point our brothers in that direction as well. We need to point ourselves in that direction as well. Make sure that we're supporting those messages. Make sure we're supporting those streams every time they come up, whenever there's an
Of
opportunity
course.
to do so. Because if we aren't supporting those voices, if other young girls and young minds aren't seeing us support those women and those messages, right, then what is the value, what's the benefit in them wanting to be a good woman, right?
Mhm.
And if you are already incredibly young and malleable, you've been through some hard times and stuff, you don't really got a lot to look forward to in life. And then
Mhm.
boom, now you're 20 years old and it's like, all right, I'm about to make some choices about life. Well, I could do it quick, fast, and easy, right? Or slow and steady wins the race. But what you want to see is that slow and steady wins the race. So you want to see that there's a value, there's an actual purpose. If you don't go and be, young, loose, and fast, IG, internet slut, and whatever, if you go about the way where you respect yourself, you hold yourself with dignity and class, you know what I mean? You got love for your men, you got love for your women, you have no love for the ratchetry and all that bullshit, right?
Exactly.
You want to see that eventually. Yeah, sure, that's not going to have an immediate payoff, but you're going to start seeing that as cheap because when you do get a payoff, it's going to be rich, it's going to be valuable, it's going to be quality. And so we need to make sure that we are contributing to that payoff as much as possible whenever possible. You know what I mean? And I think that includes, that starts right here. We got to do what we can when we can. Not every one of us can go out and pound the pavement and
Mhm.
do all that stuff. We're up here, contributing on YouTube, online, and discussions, and creating content. So if that's what we're gonna do, what do we need to do? We need to band together. Mocha, you brought us together and say, hey,
Mhm.
listen, I found some positive ladies, and I'm gonna make this a regular thing because you know what?
Mhm.
There's too much ratchet that's on blast over here. But let's put some good women on shine, and I think that we need to keep
Mhm.
adding to that and growing to that as much as possible. Like, hey, listen, we find some good women, let's make sure that we're supporting them, let's make sure we're bigging them up.
I totally agree because it's not, it's unfortunate that, it's some sisters out here that's giving a lot of us a bad name, you know, and you can be a black woman coming from a good place, but it's hard for people to see that when the ratchetness is overshadowed.
It is
Um,
overshadowing. It's like, my
and I
goodness.
know, and I absolutely know, and it's a shame because it seems like we can never do enough shows to promote the positive energy of black women because the ratchetness is going to always overshadow that because ratchetness is what sells. That's
Yes,
what sells.
filth, filth obviously sells. Filth.
Of course. I mean, yeah, I mean, absolutely, and and this is, like I said, I'm not trying to compete or keep up with what everybody else is doing, but this is the side that more people need to see when it comes to black women. That we can conduct ourselves like ladies. We can talk without getting loud, without cursing and using a lot of profanity and sitting on here bashing every penis we ever had in our lifetime or whatever. We're showing a different light. That we're wives, we're girlfriends, we're sisters. We're daughters. We have other elements to us, other than just the ratchetness that you see. And it's just so unfortunate that even when a black woman is trying to do something positive, somebody's going to try to look for fault in it because it's unreal to see black women on this type of level with this level of classiness. It's unreal to see that to the point to where I know some black women personally who don't even have children, and because they don't have kids, and there's so many ratchet chicks who got kids, somebody automatically is going to say, well, she must be barren, she must be can't have children. Oh, so really, we're not wise enough to see there's so many ratchet sisters around here that are becoming single moms. I don't want to do that because I see what
Exactly.
it took other women through. Why I got to be barren or something got to be wrong with my
Wrong with me
womb
because I don't have any kids.
because
Right.
I don't have 6 or 7 kids.
I don't want to be a statistic.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've heard guys say that. Oh, I've heard men say, "Oh, her coochie must be broken." What?
No, it's actually me.
Yeah, I mean, because what is it? Believe it or not, I know we don't see that all the time on YouTube, but it's a lot of women out there that are wisening up. They waking up and smelling the coffee and say, you know what? I ain't about that life. I don't want that life. Some of us, it takes longer than others. I caught on when I was 16 years old. It didn't even take me to get in my 20s to figure out what life was about. I knew at the age of 15 because I was grounded. I had parents, who talked to me and gave me guidance, gave me instruction, so I had plenty of balance. So a lot of things I didn't have to go through. So some of us were just fortunate to learn early how to avoid a lot of BS, and I can tell the way that y'all talk. Y'all have learned early. Y'all not late at this. Y'all are, y'all y'all been, the way you and Ruby talk, I can tell y'all been kind of already knowing your stuff at a young age or
Absolutely.
whatever.
I
You
learn
know,
from what I see. I learn
yeah.
from what I see.
Oh, thanks, I'm Beyond. We appreciate the $10 donation. Thank you so much. He said, "Great show, ladies."
Mm.
And this is what more brothers need to hear. They need to hear black women with intellectual conversation, common sense, class. We not on here talking about the different penises and the different the different positions and just all of this ratchet behavior, man. It's just so played out. And the thing about it is it's going to always be more of the opposite sex that's going to support this movement, because ratchet females support other ratchet females. And ratchet females are not going to come over here. They're not going to, because for one, a lot of them can't even understand what the hell we talking about.
And not only that, the ratchet females, these old filthy, dirty, bottomless pit ass females are trying to move in onto the good brothers.
Right, exactly. And
Well,
see, and the other thing is a lot of people are living the opposite of what they portray on Facebook. A
True.
lot of people acting like they against this movement and they against this kind of man and they against the Dusty Brothers. But the Dusty Brothers be the ones banging their backs out. Them the ones they sneaking and seeing off of Facebook.
You're right.
They
you
get
know,
they get on. They have these channels against. Don't mess with these beta males. Don't mess with these dusty dudes. And these are the dudes they sneaking and messing with them,
you know
and
what
and,
though?
and
The
going
thing
out
is
of town and
too.
meeting them.
The thing is too though, is that you have to remember that women are getting their validation these days from how much dick they can get. So,
Yep.
and the thing is, if you don't value yourself, other people don't value you either. So, as much as they probably hate the guys and hate themselves, but they got to keep their numbers up. Otherwise, they're not worth anything, right?
Yep.
Their worth is determined by how much dick is run through them this week. So if that's not 10 or 20, well, then they're not worth as much as their friends are, right? Their value is only as big as their rotation, right? So and this is the problem you get. Well, if you don't value yourself, then your value is really low. If your value is really low, well, then that's going to limit the kind of guys you can get to run through you, and then toss you in the dumpster when they're done, right? That's what you're looking for. That's what you want. Well, at least the dusty dudes, you know what? They're not choosy at all. So you know that if you sit there and you pull one of them into the corner, at least you'll get some, and then at least you could tell your friends you got some, and then you're just gonna lie about who ran through you. It's all right. He don't want to claim you either, so no one's gonna really know. It's gonna be all right. You just lie and say it was some gorgeous guy with light skin and so eyes and so hair, right? You're gonna sit there and lie it up. They don't know. They weren't there, right? And then you keep your value high, and for that, I don't know, 15 minutes or so that he was banging you, at least you could feel like someone loved you.
Exactly. These same females, and what kills me is that, we have a lot of these bitter black women movement where they're trying to encourage other sisters to swirl and date this kind of man and date that kind of man. And these same females that are preaching this message, they'll be the main ones, the first dude that come in their face and smile and show their teeth. They're giving these dudes the
Mhm.
draws right
Hmm.
away. Right? These same chicks that act so hardcore and tell you, yeah, don't mess with these dusties, don't mess with these broke down dudes. They the main ones that
That's
is
because
letting
they're
these brothers get
raggedy.
get in.
That's because they're
Mhm.
raggedy and insignificant, and they're doing everything they can to be relevant. You know what I'm saying? I hate that type of thing when you preach about what somebody else shouldn't do and then you turn around and do it.
It's called hypocrisy.
Yes, it does.
And
And
that's the
see,
thing though. I
yeah,
mean, our community is damn near run on hypocrisy, right? The church is run on hypocrisy, families are run on
true.
hypocrisy, neighborhoods are run on hypocrisy. Damn, our hierarchies run on hypocrisy. That's what it's all about, right?
Well,
People, it's not about not doing something. It's
you're
about not
right.
getting caught doing the thing that you say you're not supposed to do.
And see, sometimes gimmicks is what sells.
And
You
not only
know,
that,
yeah,
I don't think there's a black community. I just think people are just black.
Of course there's a black
yeah,
community.
yeah.
It's just
There's no
fractured.
unity, no community, none of that.
No,
And then
See, that's the
they're
problem.
just
There's no
black.
unity, but there's a community. The problem is whether we like it or not, we are a community. And that's the thing. It's like on one side, the community is entirely dysfunctional and fractured and disjointed, but it's dysfunctional because it's working with itself to dysfunction, if you understand what I'm saying, right? As
hmm
in, we're not dysfunctioning with Asian people, we're dysfunctioning with each other. This is what our community looks like. Our community is so disjointed and lacks so much unity and lacks love and lacks, as I was we were talking about on Ashley W's panel earlier. It we lack a collective consciousness. We lack a collective love. We lack a collective respect. So we're not a collective. We aren't together. There's no more neighborhoods. There's no more families, really. I mean, damn. You think about like that movie, that soul food movie, right? And I remember thinking like,
Right,
oh my God, that's America. This is the coolest thing ever. I wish
right.
my family did that every Sunday. Um, but
And
how
here's
many
the
of y'all can
thing:
say that
we
your
don't even do
families do
that.
that every Sunday?
No, they
Mm-hmm.
don't. And another
You
thing I
feel me?
realized too, the reason why there's so much division amongst black people in the black community, let's be honest, there's division within the black families. Some people can't even stand their own siblings. You in the black family, you got some siblings who think they're better than the other sibling because that sibling went to college, or that sibling made it, or that sibling got married. For one, black people, we have division just within our household. You got fathers who can't even connect with their daughters. You have sons that can't even connect with their mothers. It's all we're broken under the same goddamn roof. You families, like you said, we don't have that like soul food movie. We don't sit to the tables together and discuss how was your dad school, how was your dad work. With the social media, everybody's on their phone. You got your phone in your hand, scrolling through Facebook at the dinner table, or you watching your smart TV, you watching your tablet. So with social media now, that's even more division. Black people, we don't even get along under the same roof. You got husbands and wives that's not even on the same accord. What I've noticed with black families, and this is the reason why there's division in the black community. There's division within the black families. It's gotten so bad to where these children are running the households. The parents ain't even running the households anymore. The children are. The kids are calling the shots. These men are not being fathers and running the household. They're sitting there and letting the wife do it all, or the wife is, not on the same accord with her husband. It's division, within black families. What's your intake on that?
I think it's worse than that. I don't think anyone's running anything.
Yeah, there's no
I was
order.
just gonna say
Agreed.
there's literally no order, and
Agreed.
that's the problem. There
Yep.
is no, and I think it starts honestly from this lack of basic respect that anyone seems to be born and raised with. So they don't have a respect for themselves, and they don't have a respect for other people. So, they're not able to. How can parents instill respect into their children when those parents don't respect themselves? They don't respect their own parents. They don't respect other people. They don't respect authority figures.
Right.
How are you going to instill respect into your children? So they just baseline respect you. And then in this day and age, you can't just beat the shit out of your children when they're disrespectful to, at least make them fear you, right? Because someone will call children's aid on you. So what happens? They let their kids run rampant and run wild and walk all over them. You know what I mean? And at the same time, you got wives disrespecting husbands. You got husbands disrespecting their wives.
Yep.
So what is everyone learning? So now all you're doing is you're breeding another generation that lacks respect. And a household cannot function and be peaceful without respect. It just can't.
Right, right. Without peace, without no order. And as you stated, that is the problem. There is no order. And if y'all realize the dynamics have changed, the women are running the households more than the men, because
Right.
either he has cowered it out, he doesn't want to be a leader, it's too much. He done punked out. He don't want the responsibilities of being a man, or because she's so difficult to deal with, a man can't even lead for her because she done got so used to leading every goddamn thing herself, and sometimes, some of these single moms, some of them, they are the hardest to try to break, because they have had to be mama and daddy for so long. So if a man did want to come in and help her out and help her get structure over her house, she's gonna have a problem with it because she done got used to wearing both hats.
Yep. Just like we were talking about earlier with marriage, right? At the end of the day, the older you get, the more adult responsibilities that you have for longer, the harder it is for you to relinquish that. This is actually a good thing for men. This is another reason why I say that men who are slightly older should marry women who are slightly younger. It's actually good for a man to get out of the house, go be an independent person, go explore, go make his mistakes, go ruin everything, go figure out how to pick himself back up, go learn how to build. And okay, now he's ready for a wife because that's his responsibility. And now the woman, though, see, that's the thing. If she's already had to live 10 years, 15 years of her life as the man in her house because she don't have one in there, you know what I mean? These kids
Right.
running rampant, running wild. She's got to take on the responsibilities of a man, even though she was never built to have the responsibilities of a man. Now a man's going to
Exactly.
come up in there. She doesn't know how to submit to a man. She doesn't know how to let him lead and fall back. She doesn't know how beneficial that's going to be and feel. She doesn't know how much more control and how much more respect and how much more happiness she's going to have by relinquishing all of the control and giving it to him. Because the thing
Hmm.
is he's going to give it back to her in spades by relinquishing the demanding and just giving him respect. She's going to get it back in spades, but she doesn't know
Hmm.
that because she's lived a decade of her life sitting there and having to demand and control and whatever the only man in her life, which was her son. That's it. That's all she knows. So she knows how to be a mother. Someone said it earlier in the chat. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Women these days, the only way they know how to associate with men is by mothering them. They know how to be mothers. They don't know how to be wives. They don't know
Right.
how to be women. And that's
So
because
true.
their adult lives were them being single mothers to sons, single mothers to daughters. And so all they know how to be is a mother. So inside the household, you come in, you're just a new child to her. That's it.
Mm, That is so true. And they will
Very true.
adopt older sons instead of these. Some of these single moms, what I notice they'll do, they'll adopt older sons, meaning these grown men and they'll try to nurture them like they children.
Mm-hmm.
They would take these men in who can't really contribute, not so much just contribute financially, but can't contribute as far as being leaders.
Yep.
And what I believe personally, I think a lot of them, they done got used to being in control so long. I think they don't mind until it starts weighing on them. They want to wear the drawers and the panties until it starts weighing on them, and it gets too
Mm-hmm.
much. Then they don't want. Then they don't want to deal with it. Now I need a man. I need a man. You ain't no man. Well, you took him in. You took in this man child.
Yep.
Right.
You was all right with him being vulnerable and not having a job. And again, I can't fault these men because, like I say, women, if you are moving these men in your household and around your children, they don't even know your kids like that. But you want to move him in just because he looks good or he knows how to put it down in the bedroom, then you get you. I mean, you're going to get exactly what you're looking for, or
Mm-hmm.
worse.
Mm-hmm. I
It
mean,
happens all the
that's the
time.
thing though. And you know what? It's a thing. I'm gonna release the video as soon as I figure out how to render it because it's a voice only video. And for some
Mm.
reason, I recorded it in OBS. I tried to edit it in Vegas, and for some reason, it won't render. I don't know. If someone knows how to fix that problem, please email me, ruby@classicruby.com, and tell me what the hell to do because I can't figure it out. Anyway, um,
Yes. Also,
yeah,
too,
but
while we're thinking about it, let everybody know y'all channel because I had Rob ask me earlier. Hopefully he's not gone, but he wanted to know everybody y'all's channel so he could subscribe to y'all as well.
oh, just click on my name. It's a YouTube. What is it? YouTube.com/classic Ruby.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
you could just click on our avatar in the chat, and it'll bring up our channel, and then you can follow.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I was gonna say
absolutely.
so.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna do. I did a video on this. And basically it's confirmation bias. So what happens is you go out in the world, right? If you're walking around, you wake up in the morning, you think, black men ain't shit. That's your personal belief. All black men ain't
Mhm.
shit. You know what you're
Mhm.
going to do is you're going to walk around in the world, and what you're going to look for is a bunch of examples of ancient black men
Mm.
to confirm the bias you already have. Now,
Oh,
here's the
well, hold,
thing.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. You got to repeat that again.
Please
You
do.
just
Please do.
no, that was powerful. Repeat that again. I heard you, but I think they need to hear that one more time.
All right. So, if you walk around and you wake up this
Mm.
morning, you think all black men ain't shit, and then you go out in the world, what you're going to do is you're going to find a whole bunch of ain't shit black men because
Hmm.
it's
Mm.
going to confirm
Mm.
the bias
Mm.
you already have. Now, here's
Mm.
the
Mm.
interesting thing. You might meet, before you see that one ain't shit black man, you might meet 10 amazing black men who are on their game, who are real men, who are strong, who are powerful, who are great. And you know what you're going to do? You're going to dismiss every single one of them like they never existed.
Yes.
Dismiss. You know why? Because that doesn't confirm your bias. It's actually, now, this is not something I'm saying you are doing on purpose. I'm saying that your mind does it for you. It is one of those survival instincts that built into our brain. We look for things that confirm what we already believe and we dismiss everything that doesn't, right? So if
Oh,
we think,
wow.
if you think about it like this, if you think that all white girls walk around topless, you are gonna drive through the city and you're gonna see that one white girl that's topless and go, see, all white girls are topless. Meanwhile, you drove past 500 white girls and you saw them, but you dismissed them. It's like your brain just didn't register them. It saw them and then threw them away as unimportant information. It's not important information. Oh, look, see, that one's topless, just like I believed, just like I thought. That's what you do in real life. So every single day that you tell yourself black men ain't shit, every time you get into a conversation with some women and you go black men ain't shit, you know what you're doing? You're reinforcing that bias. So what you're doing is you're making it 100%, 100% for sure that tomorrow you can't find a good man because you're not looking for one. You think you're looking for one, but you're not looking for one, right? Because you're doing a bunch of other shit. You're going to the coffee store, you're doing this, you're doing that. And so all you're going to notice is all the black men who ain't shit. And you're going to say, see, I saw 10 ain't shit black men. You know what the funny thing is, though? You passed the
Mm.
100 black men. You only noticed the 10 ain't shit ones, right? You need to start changing your perception. And the way you do that is first, you got to change your attitude. You got to change your belief. You got to actively go out and find, say, channels with positive black men who are about something. And you got to start telling yourself a different narrative. You know what? Black men are great. I've just made some bad choices. There are ancient
Mm-hmm.
black men out there, but there's a lot more good ones. I have to be willing to be open to a good black man. Now, when you start telling yourself that and you believe it, you're gonna be amazed at the men you see walking down the street that you've never seen before in your life, even though they walk by you every single day. You probably even say hello to them every day. You just didn't notice he was a black man. Why? Because he was some ancient dude.
Exactly. And see, and this is why I preach this on several of my contents, that being scorned is not just a black woman's problem.
It's
You have
all
some
women's.
scorned black men out here too.
Mm-hmm.
We hear all the time, she's a bitter black woman. She's so scorned. Hell has no fury like a woman scorned. But some of these dudes are scorned and bitter. And my thing is that makes you human. It doesn't make you less than a man. It does not define your masculinity because you're butthurt about what a woman or some women have done to you in the past. That doesn't make you a less of a man to say I'm scorned because I had a woman hurt me, and I never easily gave myself to a woman. I've never been that type of dude to give myself to a woman, and I really wholeheartedly gave myself to the wrong woman, and I'm bitter because of that. Know what? They're not going to do that. They will get on these YouTube streets first and will generalize all women and put them in the same box. Just because Keisha, Kiki, and Donna, you know, got him paying child support or ruined his life, made him lose his job, or whatever the case is, he will hold his own personal pain and will get on these YouTube channels and try to poison these other black men who still have a love for black women, who still want to be with black women. That's why I tell everyone, be careful who you allow in your ear gate.
That's what
Everybody's
that's
not
what I'm
giving you
saying.
a good message from a good place. Some people are giving you message based on their own negative perception and their own personal pain because of what somebody did to them in the past. But a lot of them, they're not going to say that. They're not going to come on these YouTube streets and say the reason why I give this kind of content is because I'm a bitter black man. I'm mad about how women did me in the past, and I've never got past it. So because I'm an angry and upset black man, I'm going to share content that's going to make other men who are angry like me, who are bitter like me, who are upset like me, I'm going to give content where I can make other men that are just as bitter as me understand my content. And guess what? Pain connects with pain. Okay? If the majority of my content, if I decide to do my content tonight and talk about every black man who ever did me wrong, do you not realize how many bitter black women will be flocking to my channel and in my chat room? If we was on here tonight talking about all the black men and how they hurt us and what they did to us, we would be getting so much more support. The bottom line is this: people support the pain that they can relate to. So when I go to some of these brothers' contents that got all this negative perspective about black women, it lets me know I don't look at the message. I look at a man that's in pain, a man that's upset that because of his masculinity, a woman duped him and he never got past it. Because see, one thing about women, we get duped all the time. So even though it hurts, we kind of learn and deal with it and move on and whatever. But when the man gets duped, he can't handle that shit. He can't handle, especially when another female, because no female is supposed to challenge his masculinity. No female is supposed to get over on me. So when a man has been defeated by a trick or a thought or a skis or whatever, that brings his confidence down a little bit. So what he does is he goes around generalizing his hurt against all black women who had nothing to do with the shit he went through. He'll penalize every black woman on this planet for it. And you have some black women who do it, who go around penalizing every brother because Pookie and Ray Ray didn't give her no child support this month. She's mad with all black men, and she will create these content channels that support how much she hates black men. And it's these same bitter black women who will support her and become her moderators and donate to her painful cause. And
Yep.
that is what we got. That's what we're dealing with here. And yes, Muhammad, it is both ways. That's why I addressed it. It is both ways. It is men and women doing it. None is no more innocent or less innocent than the other. All of them are doing it. You already know who they are. We don't even have to mention their names. When you go to their channels, you know, because you one of the few that probably support that bitter movement bullshit. And this is the reason why we have the problems that we have. Because your mind is so cluttered with the negative messages you've been hearing. Your mind doesn't have no room to absorb the real shit, the real message, because you got so much filth clogged up in it from the mess you've been hearing on these YouTube streets.
Well, you know what? And the thing is, though, is a lot of people are in defense mode, right? And when you're in defense mode, you're not listening. All you're doing is waiting for your chance to speak. All you're doing is waiting. So I see a lot of people do this, right? So they'll be up on a stream and they're listening, right? And you get like 3 words out of your mouth about black men are wrong because, and they hear that um and they go off. Women do it too. Yeah, see, you're just like all women.
I
Da, da,
know.
da,
Oh
da, right?
gosh.
They didn't even let you. Now, if you had listened to anything that I said before, damn, I covered this topic last week and I said the exact same thing about women. I was just specific to exactly how women ain't shit in this particular area. Now I'm going to talk about men. Right. But no, what they're used to is needing to be in defense mode. Right. They're used to going to the channels with the women who are just loud and proud talking about how black men ain't shit and this and that and da da da. So you got to be on defense mode. You got to be on the attack. Same thing with women. They don't like to hear anything about themselves. They definitely don't like to hear anything that involves them being wrong. So
Absolutely. Women just, oh
so
gosh.
they do not like it. So what happens is the second they hear a woman say something about how women are wrong and blah
Yeah.
blah blah, they get upset. So they don't even want to hear the message. Right? They don't want to hear how, hey, you're wrong, but here's how you could fix it, or you're wrong, but girl, don't worry, I understand because here's why. No, they don't want to hear it. You already told them they're wrong. You can't do that. Right?
Right.
You want women to hear you. You can't tell them they're wrong. You got to tell them they're
Yep.
right. Right? And so you're absolutely right. It's okay for you to do what you're doing, and I understand why you're doing what you're doing. But here's another way that you could do it too. That's how you got to have women. Some of these women hear you because they won't hear anything else. As soon as you tell them they're wrong for what they're doing, they shut down. They're
Yep.
ready to fight you now. And I do mean fight. Like if you were in the streets, they'd cut you for real. right? Because you told them they're
Right.
wrong and they can't be challenged because at the
Yep.
end of the day, they are so used to fighting to be
Yes, they
right.
are.
They don't even know why they're fighting to be right anymore. They don't remember when they started that battle. I don't even think they care what the battle is. They just got to be right. Because if they're wrong, then what? The world will explode? I don't know. I don't know what they think they're afraid of. I don't even think they know what they think they're afraid of. They're just terrified of being wrong.
They know
Oh
they wrong.
yes.
They just don't want to be
Yes.
told that they
Yes.
wrong.
Right. Right. And it's that and we have to be so combative. Let me tell you the reason why some of these black women are so goddamn combative. A lot of them grew up in households, and this is not to excuse their behavior. Let me start off by saying that. Because it's gonna be somebody, you're just making an excuse for black women. No.
Oh no.
I'm just trying to make you understand the dynamics, okay? What I'm stating is that some of these black women have been so oppressed even as little girls. They probably grew up in households to where some of them have been abused, or they've had mothers who didn't really teach them, the facts of life. And a lot of these females, they come up oppressed. And so now that they become women, now they think they can voice their opinion about every damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never had a voice as a child. What? Because maybe because your father used to abuse you, or your mama was highly submissive. So whatever your daddy said, that's what y'all had to do. If you probably grew up in one of those religious households where only thing you do is go to church, you couldn't voice an opinion, whatever your reasons is. A lot of these women, when they become full grown women, a lot of them are so combative because a lot of them were not able to be able to voice themselves or to speak their opinions. So now that they're grown women, they feel like they got to voice their opinion, but not that don't mean you got to voice with every goddamn thing. You don't have to always be right. And as black women, we have a hard time. Not all of us, some of us, we cannot stand not being right. We have to be right all the time instead of learning. You feel some type of way if you black women is giving you constructive criticism, you feel some type of way. If black men give you constructive criticism, you feel some type of way. If white women, you definitely feel some type of way. So my thing is, instead of us becoming bitter, take the knowledge that women are giving you to make you better. That's what you do with it. You utilize it to your advantage.
But you know what though, Mocha? Here's the problem. And Priest is saying, he gives his daughter hugs all day. Now here's the thing. So something that children need, and a lot of the problems that we are seeing in the adults were created when these were children. So it takes work, it takes time, it takes literal, like, actual counseling in a lot of these cases for them to get over it, get past it, get through it. Now, when you are a child, something that healthy, happy children get is something called unconditional positive regard. Okay, that's the psych speak for it. So I'm gonna break it down. What that means basically is not that you sit there and you praise them all the time and they're always right. It's that the behavior is wrong. They are still good people. Their behavior is wrong, so they need to change it. They are still loved no matter what terrible thing that they did. But that being said, they're grounded for 3 weeks because you love them, right? If you didn't love them, you wouldn't ground them. You'd let them run wild and free. But they are good people. They are loved. They are special. Their behavior might be bad today. The thing that they said might be wrong today. The way that they acted might be wrong today, but that doesn't make them bad people. That doesn't make them wrong. They might have failed a test, but it doesn't mean they're stupid. I don't know how many stories I've heard of black men and women who can say that when they brought home a D, or they failed the test, that they got their ass beat and they were told they are stupid, right? Why are you acting like a dummy for? And all kinds of things like that. So now, instead of the mark being bad, the grade being bad, they are bad because they got a bad grade. Instead of them not understanding science the way the teacher is teaching them, they are stupid. They are lazy. They aren't trying hard enough. right? And so they aren't getting unconditional positive regard as children. No one is telling them that the behavior might suck or the outcome might suck or whatever, but they are still good. They are still loved. They are still worthwhile. They are still special. And so they've internalized all of that. Whereas at the end of the day, now they need constant validation and constant praise, constant, you are good, you are good, you are good. Because right underneath that surface is that lack of unconditional positive regard, no self-esteem, no self-respect, no self-love, no self-worth. So at the end of the day, anytime you tell them that no, your opinion is wrong, no, I disagree with you, you might as well be telling them you're a stupid idiot, because that's what they hear, right? So they got to fight as hard as they can against that. And even if they agree with your argument, they still got to prove that they're right. Because by them saying that they're wrong, it's like them admitting that they're stupid, that all those terrible voices they heard all throughout their childhood, all throughout their lives were right about them. They're dumb now. You know, now they're adults. They're big enough to fight back. Now they're big enough to kick you in your face and say, "No, I'm right." And so that's what they're going to do, because they never learned that there's a difference between the opinion being wrong and the person being dumb.
Yep, I mean, yep, that's definitely and the thing is, unfortunately black women are so used to being ridiculed that even if somebody is giving them constructive criticism from a good place, they don't know how to receive it. They don't know how to receive it that way. Because they're just so used to brothers going in on them. It's like a pit bull that's constantly being attacked. What's up, Monica? Good to see you, hon. It's like a pit bull that's constantly being challenged. So when that pit bull has that one person who just wants to pet them and just show them a little love, is you know already willing to growl, because it's that defense mechanism. As black women, you have to realize, we have to know when, even when somebody's riding our coattail a little bit, you have to know when it's coming from love or when that person is just taunting you. There's a difference, because it, like what we do, we may say what we have to say to sisters, but at the same time, we give them ways on how to do it. We're not just going on here saying, "Oh, all black women is all black women, all black women." No. We also say, "Black women, we have this problem, but this is what we can do to try to deal with the problem at hand." You know what I mean? But it's just unfortunate that if you're a black woman and you don't support the bitter Me Too movement, oh, that's a good one. If we don't support the bitter Me Too movement, I'm bitter like you. I'm pissed like you. I hate all black men like you.
They have a
I ain't
term
getting
for
my
that
child
though.
support like you. My food stamps ain't came on time like you. We want to support this bitter Me Too movement. We don't want to support these positive panels with black women that are keeping it, because we're very transparent. And a lot of the times too, the reason why a lot of us can't deal with truth is because it opens us up to ourselves.
Yes. Say it.
It opens us up to ourselves. It's easier for me to be a bitch
Mm.
than to look in the mirror and face the real beast that I am. It's easy for me to throw all that venom and that poison out, at other people, but then to come to myself. Because let me tell you what's more painful. The most painful thing in this world is having to correct you. Correcting you is hard. Self correction is the hardest correction. And while many of the time we think everybody else is our worst enemy, sometimes you are your own worst enemy. By the fact you have to be combative about every conversation. You have to be combative. You have to be loud. You have to be rude. You have to get on some of these brothers' channels. You try to out talk them, or you acting like you for them, but then you getting with the other sisters and you doing something else. All of this, contradictory. Because we have a lot of that in the YouTube streets. They act like they down for one cause, but then they float in other channels and
It's a
acting
whole.
like they're for something else. You know what I mean?
You see what I'm saying, Lady Mocha? They 1 minute when they over here, they respect the cause, but over there, they're not for the cause. And it's like, which
Exactly.
one is it? What do
Cause see
you?
what? Yeah. No, what you saying?
No, I was just saying which one is it? You know what I'm
My
saying?
and my thing is, you're not gonna earn brownie points with these men who can't stand black women by becoming a moderator.
You understand what I'm saying? Now you think that I'm going to moderate in a man's chat that can't stand black women?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But see, some of these females think they can earn brownie points.
That's
If
because they're looking for a trick.
Yep, they looking for a trick and they looking for validation. I did a content on this before. I said my thing is I'm not about to go nowhere where I know somebody already feels a certain type of way. Once a brother has already told me he don't care for black women, guess what? I'm not going nowhere near his channel.
Of
I'm
course.
not going over there to become his moderator. I'm not going over there to donate to him. And I see sister so badly, so thirstily want to be on the dick riding team. Excuse my French.
Yeah, because
But
they're so filthy and ground zero and just raggedy. And
yeah,
it's
they want to go, they want to seek validation. But this is what happens. No matter how much you stand for them type of brothers, you know what happens? The moment you disagree
ooh, that's your ass.
with their content, the moment you have a different perspective based on their content, them brothers will dismiss you. You will be discarded. And my thing is, I'm not about to go to a channel where I can't be myself. The only way I can be a part of your team, I got to agree with everything you say. I got to be yeah. But because I'm my own woman and I have a different opinion, the moment my opinion is different from yours, you kick me off your chat room or you kick me off your panel. I think that's childish for any man to get that upset that you got to kick a woman off your panel. That you, some of these men, they just as petty as these women. I'm starting to see a lot of emotional brothers in these YouTube streets. They get to be real emotional right about now. Now I'm used to women being petty because I know women gonna be petty. I mean, that's just women being women. But when I see dudes being petty and kicking women out their chat room. I mean, who does that? You know, why would you let somebody upset your masculinity? Why would you let a woman, a feminist, as y'all would say, isn't your masculinity supposed to overrule that? So why would you let this feminist make you so upset that it provokes your masculinity to where you got to put out your chat room? You mean to tell me you ain't man enough to just say, okay, all right, well, I hear what you're saying, but my words still stand. This is how I feel about it. You can feel how you want to feel, but this is how I feel. You mean to tell me you can't be man enough to just do that and say, okay, sister, I hear what you're saying, but this is how I feel. This what I'm gonna do. And guess what? She can't do nothing but respect it. But what's starting to happen is I'm starting to notice not all black men, if it does not apply, you don't have to reply. But they starting to act like the same petty black women they complain about. They acting just like these black women they complain about. They being petty, just like the black women they complain about. They being over emotional, just like the black women they complaining about. A lot of them are acting just like the black women they don't want on their panels.
Who they what they preach about is what they admire.
Mm, mm. Oh, AM1, that's already exists. AM1 in the comments says, I wonder if there will be a war between ratchet women and non-ratchet women. That's
It
been
is
going
a
on. I did a
war.
video on that.
It's
I
already
did a content on that. It's already like that.
it's already a war.
It is a war. It's
Yeah,
all
see,
what?
that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's this generalized belief, like overall, that overall what happens is, all women, stick up for, defend, and therefore bond together with all women. So, we all defend ratchet behavior. We all bond together. Ratchets and good
Right.
women living peacefully hand in hand. That is not the way it goes. Um,
Nope.
because even if you think, right, even if I support something or I argue something that might be in favor of the ratchet woman, for some reason, I have some opinion you think is supporting bad behavior from Black women. Fine, that's cool. The thing is, I have a whole bunch of opinions that don't. I have a whole bunch of opinions that support Black men too. And as soon as I have one opinion that supports a Black man, I'm already dead to them. As soon as I have one opinion that is against whatever they're doing, I'm dead to them. Like, it's a very simple thing. You're either 100% with
You're
us
in
or
or
you
you
are
out.
100%
Yep.
against
Facts.
us. Yep.
Facts.
It's not even
Absolutely.
like it's not a cute thing. Like, literally, the way that they treat men is the way they treat everyone, including each other. Ratchets treat ratchets this way, right?
Absolutely.
You are either my friend or you are my enemy. There is no in between. That's how it is. So there has always been a war. There's always been a war. That's why, when we speak about the fact that we need to give good Black women an incentive, or we need to give these young minds an incentive to go the route of the good woman, there's a reason for that. There is a lot stacked up against them if they're going to choose the route of the good Black woman, not the least of which is the fact that it's lonely, right? Because
Right.
there's not a lot of them
Right.
who are trying to go down that path. There's not a lot of them who think that way, right? And it's one thing once you're grown, right? Like, I'm grown, so there's not a lot in the world that's going to happen to me that is going to change the way that I see the world, the way that I see men. And whatever. No one's gonna be able. You're gonna knock me off the wagon, and I'm suddenly gonna go and be all Black men ain't shit, right? Like, I'm
Right.
already a reasonable, rational person. So even if a Black man hurts me, I'm gonna say that that man's a piece of shit. Not that all Black men now are pieces of shit, right? Like, I'm
Right.
already established. But I'm talking about young minds because they're still figuring out who they are. You go off to college, you figure out who you are. So these 17, now it's 17, damn, 17-year-olds going off to college, um, and you're like, all right, they're starting to figure out who they are. They're gonna, oh, and there's this YouTube stuff and whatever. That's what they're gonna start absorbing. You hear a lot of young minds coming up on here going, well, I don't want to go through that, so I'm gonna do what you're saying, right? I don't want to experience that, so I'm gonna do what you're saying. I see a lot of young minds saying stuff like that. You have to understand that there needs to be added benefit because there is a lot against them and they don't have a community the way ratchets do. Ratchets always got a community. There's always a bunch of them congregated somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
There, right? There's ratchet YouTube. Is there good woman YouTube? Has anyone found that yet? Because I'm still looking.
It's a few good non-ratchet good women, like a few, probably like a handful.
hmm it's
That's what
difficult
you
to
can
find Black women with
see.
good intentions, right? Like, that are
Exactly.
up here doing YouTube. And a lot of them, a lot of good women, it's not that they're not out there, but they don't want to be up front and center on YouTube. They don't want the backlash. They don't want the attacks. They don't
Exactly.
want the
Right,
Everybody,
ostracism.
I tell
right.
you, everybody can't do what we do.
Mm-mm.
It takes you to be a very strong-minded woman, to stand for
Mm-hmm.
something different. Especially when you're setting your own trend and you're not following the trend.
Right.
When you're standing for something positive, we will be targeted quicker than the ratchet ones. They'll
Mm-hmm.
target us first before they even target the ratchet ones. You know why they'll target us first, Ruby and Kales? You
Mm.
know why?
Why?
Because they want to see if that ratchetness is there.
Yeah, they want us to act out of character
They
Facts.
so they
want
can
they
see us.
they want it
Facts.
to come out. They want it to come out
Facts.
so bad. I've had brothers try me. They wanted Kashaya to come out. And
Right.
I'm like, it's not going to happen.
It's not.
Not when I can simply just get off of YouTube and click off my computer. You're not that important to me where you're going to upset me from a keyboard, from another screen. You're somebody I'm not even going to run into like that. Majority of these
Mhm.
people we let upset us on YouTube are people we don't have to work with. You don't even live on the street with them. I just refuse because a lot of people are real bold behind these screens. It's easy
Mhm.
to get your chops up and talk all kind of trash and throw all type of shades. It's kind of like they got liquor courage. You got social media courage.
Right.
People want to get real biggity and boasty behind the
Yep.
scenes of these YouTube streets. What's up, metamorphics? And at the end of the day, if you saw them in the street personally, half of the stuff they say about you on these YouTube streets, they're not going to
Mhm.
say it in person if they saw you. Half of them is not. Half of them is not going to say it, and that's why I tell a lot of people be mindful who you allow in your ear gate. Because these same people that are preaching to you are living the exact opposite of what the hell they preaching. You got females up here telling you, stay away from dusty dudes, and they getting pregnant by them. You know, they sneaking and seeing them, exchanging numbers, tell you stay away from these dusty dudes. And you got these men, these brothers, telling other black men, stay away from these thoughts. Stay away from these, no good women. But
Mhm.
they sneaking and seeing her every other weekend. They meet
Mhm.
her somewhere, even if she just slobbing on their knob. Hate to be graphic or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But it's just do not be deceived by what you see in these YouTube streets. So anyway, I think we're definitely due for another part two on this because
Mhm.
I want to get with you ladies again. We'll and I'll reach out to y'all and I would like to get with Ashley, Ruby. I will allow you to make that connect or whatever. I'm all for
Awesome.
positive black women. If you are ratchet, you will not be qualified for this panel. I only do educated, intelligent black women.
Mhm.
I don't expect nobody to be perfect. We all got some ratchetness now. Let me tell you what my ratchet is. Every sister got some ratchetness. Now, when you mess up my damn food, I'm ratchet. If you
Ooh, oh
tell, if
my.
I see my shrimp fried rice got more rice than shrimp, now I'm about to get ratchet now.
Yep.
Now, because you're playing with me now. I don't
Mhm.
cheat me with my shrimp when I order shrimp fried rice. Okay, if
A
I
black
order
woman in her
chicken,
shellfish.
I'm serious. If I order chicken McNuggets and I know it's supposed to be 10, and it's 9 of them in there. Oh, not now. You know what? Now it's time for me to get ratchet. I get ratchet.
Mhm.
We all got a little bit of ratchetness, but we have to know when to turn it on, when to turn it off. I'm not one of them sisters you're gonna see scrapping and jumping over the counter at Waffle House because this chick done burnt my goddamn waffle. Now I want to jump over the damn counter and beat her down for it.
Anyway,
We have to keep ratchetness to a bare minimum. But the next topic I wanted us to do, just to give y'all a heads up, I actually did this content with Gabe, and me and him did it, even though I was super hella late or whatever. I'm glad I ain't had to pay him to come because I would have owed him because I was super late to his chat. But he gave me he gave me this article, and I'm going to email it to y'all about
Mhm.
Daniel Patrick Moynihan, and
Mhm.
basically his concept was he that growing up in homes without a male breadwinner reduce black children's chances of climbing out of poverty, and that the spread of such families will make it hard for blacks to take advantage of the legal and institutional changes.
Yep.
He basically talked about single parent homes, black single parent homes, and how children that grow up in fatherless families are less likely to have chances of being successful. I think that would be an awesome topic for us to cover, talking about these single parent homes and if it's an advantage or if it's not an advantage. I know it's a touchy subject, especially because there's a lot of single mothers out there or whatever, but it is what it is. We can't keep hiding up under the rug. These are issues that have to be discussed. We have to be transparent. I grew up in a single parent household. None of me and my siblings, none of us ever been to prison. All of us, it turned out fine. We turned out great. And the same token, though, my mother allowed us to have a connection with our fathers. So that is one of the reasons, and this is another topic too that too is that most I realize that most women who have been raised by their black fathers or had some type of black father or black male figure, some type of male figure, they're more balanced. They won't be as feminist compared to a lot of these women out here who always just had their mama to raise them and nurture them. You know, some have been fortunate to not having a father to still keep them balanced. But the majority of these women that are not balanced are women who grow up in households without fathers. And you know, I even throughout these years of me doing my content and being a content creator, I've had a lot of guys that reached out to me, and you know, a lot of them say you're very balanced, you're different from a lot of females, you're very balanced. And a lot of that has to do with I've had not one, but I've had two fathers. I've had two dads in my life. My biological father and my stepfather. Both men have been in my life since I've been 3 years old. So I've always had that manly structure, which is the reason why I can't empathize with women a lot. And most women that grew up in households with fathers, the majority of them, when you grow up with a father, he teaches you how to be accountable. When it's not a mother there, in some instances, women don't really teach other women how to be accountable unless you really had a mother that was well structured and well balanced. But for the most part, if your mother was the only woman who raised you and she was not taught accountability, she's not going to teach you that. But if you were in a household with a balanced, structured father and a mother, you're going to learn accountability. You know, and that's why I'm not so much of a feminist, because I grew up in a household where I've had men in my lives who taught me how to be balanced and how to take accountability. I wasn't able to get away with not taking accountability because I've had men in my lives as father as in my life as father figures who structured me in that. So, but anyway, that's for another time. You know, I'm not going to ramble too much about it. We're definitely going to get ready to wrap things up. Before I let my ladies close out for me, I want to definitely thank each and every one of y'all in the chat room for supporting the non-ratchet movement. Our aim is not to be have a feminist channel, but our aim also is not to have a male bashing channel. It's basically sharing wisdom and knowledge with the black community, that's going to benefit black men and black women in general, and that's what we strive to do. I don't care how many other channels you go to, they're not going to be nothing like this. We're very balanced here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris. We don't do drama. So if you're looking for drama, you're looking for entertainment, you're going to be bored here because we don't do a lot of that. But if you're looking for spiritual awareness, wisdom, and knowledge, you're looking for deep conversation, um, real meaningful topics, that is what we do here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Also, if there's any topics that we did not touch upon, please email me. Say, hey, Mocha, I really want you and the girls to talk about this. I want you and the ladies, can you please discuss this? I am welcome to it. You know, whatever topics, whatever things you feel like needs to be addressed, we are more than open to addressing those issues. So before I get ready to shut it down, I'm gonna let my ladies close out, and I'll probably let them just one more time refreshing everybody's memories their channel so you can subscribe and support their movement as well. Starting with Poetic. Give everybody your info again, and any last words you would like to add before we get ready to close out.
Oh yes. My channel is Poetic Hills. Again, I do lives. I do pretty much chill lives where you just come over there. I'm playing music. Of course, music I get copyrighted on. So, but I play music. We chill. We support each other. We get our numbers up. It's kind of like a support live. And and I also got some poetry on there too. I got two poetries. I was waiting for a particular person so we could do another collab. But since it's been 2 months, I think I'm gonna just go ahead and do like a solo project. So I'm gonna be dropping another video with my poetry in the next week or two. And I also want to say, Lady Mocha, Classic Ruby, I really, really appreciate you guys. You are definitely my sisters. There's not too many women out here that I vibe with. I could kind of like sense, the unbideness of them. You know what I'm saying? But I
Hmm.
appreciate you, Lady Mocha. I appreciate you, Classic Ruby. This was an excellent panel. It kind of helped me release some frustrations that I had because we talked about
Hmm.
it. So I really appreciate that. I am glad to be up here. And much love to you. Much love to the fam in the chat. And I hope everyone have a blessed night.
And I forgot you told me you did a poem. I do that also on the side a little bit. So when I get a chance, I'm
Okay.
gonna email and throw that and throw you one or two of them. That's something I dabble in, on the side.
Oh, okay.
Girl,
Can
I
we
do every
collab?
goddamn Girl, I do a little bit of every goddamn thing. I do poems. I bake my own damn food. I do my own sewing weaves. I do a little bit of every goddamn thing.
Oh,
There's more to Mocha than these YouTube streets.
I love it. Can we? So, Lady Mocha, with that being said, can we definitely do a collab on the poem?
Like I said, y'all don't always have to come over here. I'm welcome to go to y'all house as well. If you want me to collab over
Oh,
there, yeah, just
anywhere.
email me and be like, hey, I'm going live. It goes both ways. I have to support your brand like you support mine. So it's not always just about y'all coming over here. You want me to come over there and support your movement? Absolutely. That's what we have to do as Black women or whatever. So definitely you know my email, hit me up, whatever, and it's all well and done. And again, I definitely appreciate your presence, and we will continue to be doing a lot of more projects together. So you have a wonderful one, and you keep in touch, and we'll be getting together soon. Mrs. Ruby, of course, the classic diva. What you got?
Well, first of all, Kels, thank you very much, girl. I love you guys. I love being able to come and just speak with some people who aren't on some negative bullshit, who aren't on some delusional bullshit. They're really willing to just have a conversation, a real one. Let's be real. Our community has so much fake. Let's just be real for once. Let's just talk for
Yes.
once, try to connect for once, try to analyze ourselves for once, because it's so important, and it's something that's so lost on so many of us. And then we've got it, a bunch of people running around going, Black women ain't this, Black men ain't this. Why they like this for? Why do you think they're
Mm,
like this? For the same reason you're like the way you are, because you want to stop for
mm-hmm.
5 seconds and point the finger back at you and say, oh, right, I'm part of that. Something that you learn when you're very young, and they try to teach it to you to, prevent you from pointing because it's rude. So they say, every time you point a finger at someone, there's three fingers pointing back at you, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
learn that, and it's true. Every time you point, if you got to point for, she did this, he started it. There's three fingers pointing back at you, though, right? Because
It's
just
so
because
much
someone starts something,
childishness.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just because someone starts something doesn't mean you got to finish it. Just because someone starts something doesn't mean you got to be about it, Because if someone starts something and you ignore it like it didn't happen, guess what? Suddenly they didn't start something. They just said some ignorant bullshit. And then it was done. And it could be done that quickly. You could be over it that quickly. Everything's about retaliation. Everything's about this confused. I really think it comes down to a lot. There's this confused gender role scenario, and people are trying to pick up traits that their gender should never have had. Men were not made to gossip. Okay, they weren't.
Exactly. Thank
Right?
you.
Period, point
Thank
blank.
you.
Men, women were literally, we were designed in our battles, right? So when we want to battle each other, for mates, how do we do that? Gossip. Women were made to gossip. Men were not made to gossip. So if you are gossiping, when you catch yourself gossiping, guess what you're doing? You're acting like a woman. That is a feminized trait that you are displaying right now, right? So if you think that you're the
Talk
most manly
true.
of men, but you sit there and you gossip
Tell
your
the
ass off
truth.
like no one's business, you are acting like a woman. Okay? That's not what people are supposed to be about. And when you look at women are not supposed to physically posture to fight. Okay? We're not. We're not supposed to be raising our hands and pushing each other, and that thing that you do where it's like your shoulders make yourself bigger and your fist ball up, and you put the face on, and women weren't made to do that. They weren't, right? That's something men do. And they do that because they need a battle to be in a hierarchy. Now, here's the problem, okay? Because women, well, in this day and age, but here's the problem is that we don't have a hierarchy, right? Women were not made to have a hierarchy either, the way men were. That stable hierarchy where one guy's the chief, one guy's his right hand man, one guy's his left hand man, one guy's the this, one guy's the that, and so on and so forth. And it goes down. And once you establish your area in the hierarchy, then it's over. There's no more establishment of anything, right? You're just, that's where you are. And women, though, we weren't made to be static like that, right? So we could sit there, we could fight literally to the death for our spot as queen bee, but you're going to lose it maybe next week, right? Because we weren't made to be static. It's not the way we think. And so as a result, we are doing something which is possibly people are losing their lives over. Girls are losing their lives over fights to establish dominance for what? A week? Maybe a month if you're lucky, as queen bee, as the strongest, as the whateverest. Like, we weren't made to do this. So we're putting ourselves in like life risking positions to posture like men. We weren't made for it. And what we need to do is we need to start checking ourselves when we realize, like, hey, shit, this isn't actually really a feminine trait. I don't care how many of the chicks you know do it, right? I don't care how much, well, my cousin told me, I don't care. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? This is not about everyone else. This is about you. It's about your life. You know, you got to start, just forget everything else and realize that if you don't focus on yourself and what you are doing or not doing, how you are failing, it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing, because everyone else can get their shit together. And if your shit's not together, once they get their shit together, guess what? You're now on the outside and you're now behind. They're not letting you in and trying to fix you. Girl, they fix themselves. You know what I mean? You're going to need to catch up. So everyone needs to start focusing, I think, a little bit about on themselves and start realizing the feminized or, you know, masculinized behaviors that they're exhibiting. Just work on maybe that. Just that. I don't know. This is my 2 cents. Y'all know Classic Ruby, classicruby.com, YouTube, Classic Ruby. I don't know, youtube.com/Classic Ruby. And yeah, otherwise, I love you, Mocha. Thank you for having me, as always. Always a pleasure.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful.
Type in the
And
chat.
on that note, I want to close out with a song. And even though my voice is not that great, want to hear it, like to hear it go. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times that made us laugh outweigh the bad. I thought we took to see forever, but forever's gone away. It's so
I tried.
hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
Why, you just made it easier, though. That's all I'm saying. Oh my God.
No, I know I'm gonna edit that part out.
Right? Oh, you gotta leave it. It's a classic forever, forever. Yeah.
my, my husband is gonna kill me. Like, no, you did not sing. They're gonna all unsubscribe from you hearing your goddamn ratchet voice. I promise y'all, I won't sing no more. Don't unsubscribe.
We just didn't want to get copyrighted. That's all.
Exactly. Absolutely. But it has definitely been wonderful. If you're just coming in, it's too late. the congregation, the church service is over. Ha! You
Mm,
missed the awesome word, okay?
mm.
So you're going to have to catch us next time. Wow. And this is your girl, your lady diva, here at Mocha's Cafe de Paris. I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off with a slice of knowledge. Don't forget to tune in next Tuesday, same time, same place, with Ruby and Kales, with Classic Ruby and Poetic Kales here at the Non-Ratchet Movement on Mocha's Cafe de Paris. Y'all take care. Bye.
All right, cheers, y'all.
Much love.